Hey, welcome. On this episode of Task Force Geek, we will have Markus Pattern, who wrote the comic, the Western comic, The Three Deaths of Willis Waterhouse. Boy, it's already starting off great. We'll also be doing a wide-ranging roundtable talking about it's been a while, folks, talking about the big movies and television series over the last couple of months. We're just going to talk and have fun, and we'll catch up with everyone who's been doing with On Blast, and that's all coming up now. Welcome to Task Force Geek. My name is Dirk Hooper, and today I am joined by Beth. Hey, we're bringing you up first. There's Beth. There she is. And Walt. We have Walt Emil. How long has it been, Thompson? I heard from your mom today.
How's she doing?
She's doing all right.
Even though I just got finished talking to her on the phone.
Apparently she's doing okay.
That's good.
Just for the record. And our guest tonight is Markus Pattern, who I didn't even realize. How you doing, Markus?
I'm all right.
He, as you can tell, he's not from round here. Markus is from London. So it's, what time is it in your neck of the woods?
1 o'clock in the morning.
1 o'clock in the morning. That's the sort of dedication that we have here. So look, Markus, we appreciate it. And welcome.
Otherwise, thank you for having me.
So 6 hours ahead.
6 hours ahead.
Yep.
Let me do a little house cleaning, whatever we're going to call that.
Oh, he's starting already.
It's been a couple of months since we broadcast last. I believe it was right around the middle of December. The idea was for us to take off like between Thanksgiving and New Year's because, like, guests are they're not doing Kickstarters in that time of year, and it's difficult. Like everyone, all of our regular contributors had stuff going on. Beth was writing a book. Walt is dealing with a new job. Scott, the stuff that's happening with Scott, I'm not even going to go into it because, I'll let him speak for himself and stuff. So anyway, the idea was for us to take a little bit of time off. I got out of, to the first of the year, and I got sick, and so, and sick so much that it was, dealing with whatever throat stuff and congestion. I just couldn't talk for long. I mean, I could talk for a few minutes and then I start coughing, which is not very attractive for broadcasting. So in any case, that's the situation. And this is going to be the longest amount that I've done any sort of broadcasting in a while. So we'll see how it goes. I just sprayed myself with this stuff. It's called Singer's throat spray.
That's
Yes.
good stuff.
So we'll see.
That's good stuff.
We'll see. It's nasty, but we'll see if that gets me through tonight and see how things go. Let me also say that I think that what we'll probably do with Task Force Geek is go when we have guests, because that's really, none of us are being paid for doing this. So the bonus for all of us is to network, to meet new people, to help them get their stuff out, like we're going to do with Markus here in a minute, and get the excitement of having, some guests on the thing. So in that vein, if you want to see episodes of Task Force Geek, help us get guests. If you're a guest, get in touch with us at taskforcegeek@gmail.com. If you know people who might be a guest, particularly comic book people, that's really our bread and butter, is writers and artists for comic book stuff, either current or in the past. If you know someone, tell them to get on here. Even if you've been on here before, if you got something to push or whatever, we want to get you on here again. But if it's not those two things with guests, then just share what we're doing. When we put out, updates and stuff, just share it to your stuff. Like right now, share Task Force Geek, please, because then hopefully we will be talking to potential guests. So if you want to see more episodes, share this or talk to friends who are potential guests, please. Let's see who's out there. Steve.
Shanktify.
Hello, Steve.
Steve Shank. He says, "Hey, kids." And Ashelle says hello to everyone. Hello, Ashelle.
Hey, girl.
Hello.
Welcome. All right. Let's get this show on the road. Here we go. talk to our guest today, Markus Pattern, and talk about his comic, The Three Deaths of Willis Waterhouse. Let me just give you a rundown of that, and then I'll go into the questions. And again, to Beth and to Walt, if you have questions for Markus or any of our people who are watching, they have questions, then please leave us a comment, and I will make sure to ask those questions. About The Three Deaths of Willis Waterhouse, it's a Western comic about a cowboy riding off into his last sunset and how he's earned his 3 deaths. The front part of the story is Willis telling his life story, how he feels he's earned the glorious sunset he's galloping towards. The second half of the book is the lie exposed. We learn how what he did to his ex-wife Sarah and how he betrayed his best friend Teneca. Did I say that right? And we figure out why he is riding a horse, bleeding to death in the first place. And it's set in the backdrops of 1850s Gold Rush, California. I love Westerns, and I love Western comics. I think that's really, really cool. So the question that I have first for you is, Markus, tell us how you're interested in and how you got into doing comics.
I've been enjoying comics since... I've been into comics since I was like 11 or whatever, and I've been enjoying them since I discovered Dragon Ball Z, so maybe about since I was 13, and then kept drawing, and then I discovered I could play bass. Stopped drawing.
Bass players unite.
Realized no one wanted me to play bass, so then I went back to creating comics, and I took about a decade gap, and then I got back into
I hear you.
Get into it.
I've already got a side question for you.
Yeah, go ahead, Walt.
What's your favorite style of music?
I mean, all of it.
Hey, you're right. Hey, my kind of guy.
You know, when cats say that, and then they mean well, it's just really limited.
Or I should actually say,
huge. My when I was making music, my music collection was huge. So I'm literally everything from atonal classical to hardcore punk to pop and stuff. My gamut is huge. Hardcore punk and hip hop with my main go-to stuff.
See, we should talk, because my thing is I'm into the hard rock and the hip hop, but since the gangsta grass is around, the hip the hip hop bluegrass.
I haven't come across that.
Gangsta grass. Look 'em up.
I'm gonna check that out. That sounds dope.
I've never heard of that. That's
The
insane.
first time Walt mentioned gangsta grass to me when we were working together, and I was like, "What are you talking about, dude?"
If you're familiar with the TV show here called Justified, they're the ones who did the theme song for that TV series.
Oh, okay.
That's the one with Tim Oliphant, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
My mom and Sean Wilson will not shut up about that.
Yeah, they did the theme song for that series. Okay, back to the comments.
They have new episodes of Justified coming soon, by the way.
And I can't wait.
Since you name dropped that, Markus, tell us what you do on that comic.
Well, on the 3 deaths, I did it all. I
do everything.
Basically, I was working on a comic on this Kickstarter, right? And basically that kind of fell through, and then I had about a month of free time. I was like, I need to do something. Jim Rugg made Octobriana in 7 weeks. Can I do that? And I figured I'll give it a go. Turns out I can do a full comic by myself in about 9 weeks, provided I don't get ill or nothing. But yeah, so that's why I did it, because I needed something to do. I was petty and salty about my Kickstarter not working, so I need to end the year on a positive. So the writers I worked with have been all really cool and stuff, but it means I am waiting on other people to do stuff.
Sure.
Whereas if I just do it myself, I don't have to rely on anybody, and I think I'm at this stage where I'm not so bad at writing and stuff that I can actually, knock out I can do something that's decent and stuff without being kind of amateur hour, pro amateur kind of hour, but like not amateur hour. So that's why because I need a friend to draw, and I just got really into just like I'm kind of in that flow. Like I really like kind of like having that set kind of period of like kind of like like 7 weeks to make and create and then put out a comic. Seems like a fun way to spend the first part of this year. So that's the plan.
Let me tell you something. You say that it takes you 7 weeks to do a full issue of the whole thing?
Closer to, 9 weeks. I'm getting closer to the 7 weeks, but like 9 weeks is I would
say I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah.
To do
awesome.
the whole thing.
Really good. Yeah.
Well, thank you, but yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's also like I think as a calling card, like it's also what they are like. Because like I want to go to the publisher. Oh, by the way, you want something drawn? I can do it all in 7 weeks. Pay me to do that, and that's so. And so I get to it's kind of the goal is to continue doing it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Before hey,
yes.
Seriously. But before we got started, you said you worked with Doug Wood. What was how did you work with Doug? Friend of the show, Doug Wood?
About 3 years ago. So basically, I needed, after the band stopped, as like, I was trying to, but essentially, like, I was trying to build up my portfolio. That wasn't going anywhere. And I figured, well, this cat likes a lot of what I'm drawing anyway. So, hey, do you want to work together? He was doing his big hype stuff. And I was meant to be we were meant to be in one of the first one and stuff, but that fell through, which is, kind of a good thing because like, like it was like my first full length comic. And like, don't be showing like your first full length without, so anyway, that's how I met him, because we worked together on that. It didn't come out, but like I've been friends with him since. Well, I like to think we're friends. I mean, don't speak for the man, but I'm fairly certain we're tight.
I'm sure you are.
I'm sure you are.
He's worked with me since, so like
Doug strikes me as being friends with a lot of people. You said that you had a failed Kickstarter. Tell us a little bit about that.
Basically me and this cat called Devin Ascot. We worked together on like a couple little small like 1-page kind of things, and we were gonna. And then when you work with someone, like actually I really did work on you. I can see myself hanging with you for quite a bit. Yeah. And we were gonna apply for like the like either the second big hype on the second volume, I think, and we were gonna apply for that. And so like we came up with this this story for that, like this 10-page thing, and it's like, well, if we don't get in, I want to do something with you. Have you got anything kind of longer form, like a book we can put out? And that's what ended up being The Gateway, which is a Lovecraftian horror set on a farm in Alabama. And,
cool.
I thought it was quite cool. I mean, everyone I spoke to, I thought it was quite cool, but no one turned up to the Kickstarter to make it happen. So basically, me and him worked together on that, and so, and I, not to be salty or anything about it, but I am. So it's the way it's going to come out. But I learned a lot, and like, and I also learned that like I don't really want to draw like a big like double issue book every 3 or 4 months, because like it's just because like my artwork at the beginning of it is totally different to my artwork at the end of it.
So well, yeah.
Like, you are.
I totally get that.
Yeah. So that was the. So that book is going to be coming out digitally.
Okay.
In it was meant to be coming out in about like in a week's time, but like when I was putting together the PDF, I realized I'd missed out a page, so I need to go back and redraw a page to make a double splash page work, and it's just like so it will be coming out in basically when I get around to finishing the book, really. So
right.
So yeah. Which is kind of a good thing it didn't get Kickstarted, because it would have been a pain to realize like I'd go for this and I missed out a page.
Right.
It's not the first time that's happened.
No, it's not. It's not like it's a vital page. It's like it means I get to draw an Eric Larson, Jack Kirby inspired lunge. So like, you know, oh woe is me, you know.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of Jack Kirby,
Hello,
who were
Maxine.
some of your influences growing up? You know, that helped you develop your style.
Not Jack Kirby. I've only got the one book of his, and he's not really been on my radar. But like loads of people who have been influenced of him have been. So like when I was young, it'd be cats like Joe Madureira, Humberto Ramos,
Oh yeah.
Greg Capullo. Basically, if it was released from like 95 to like mid 2000s, that's where that kind of that manga-esque vibe that came in when we all discovered anime, and then that sort of vibe. That's where I'm and I'm also influenced by Masahiro Shiro, Katsuro Ultima, and
Oh, yeah.
the Evangelion. So basically, like I'm that anime kid from the early 2000s.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of the people that you mentioned are also highly influenced by manga stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll look really dope in the 90s. So like, that's why we are, because like, you know, because it's also such a breath of fresh air. Because like, you know, I mean, you can trace the lineage from like, well, obviously these cats were influenced by like Disney and stuff, and then also the current vein. And
Yeah.
To see
it goes around and around.
Right.
Because I mean, not to. I mean, say like if you look at the books that come out at that time, like I mean, I've personally have never seen a Fantastic Four or a Justice League or an Avengers book from that period that didn't look janky as all hell. I cannot get on with that artwork whatsoever. So to go from like here to like, oh, John Madureira's here, let's worship him. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. My influence is kind of a hybrid because, and Dirk will probably agree with me on this, because when we were kids, it was G.I. Joe and Transformers and Thundercats, and even though there was like this, you know, Western look to the characters, it was all anime. It was all done from, you know, the Toei LTD and Tokyo Movies, Shinsha. So we were, you know, unbeknownst to a lot of people in our generation, they don't know that they were influenced by anime.
A lot of people our generation don't realize that
Yeah.
a lot of what we were watching was anime.
So, you know,
And for the most batshit racist of reasons too, like, oh, they won't like the Japanese stuff. Like, what the hell are you on about? It's a like,
Right.
It's a
it boggles
cartoon.
the mind. It boggles the mind.
Right.
They also were I mean, back in the late 70s, they were concerned about a long form story like on Star Blazers, where if you didn't see the first 10 episodes, you don't know exactly what's going on,
Right.
because, you know, everything sets up the next episode.
It was
I
the
mean,
same
they
thing with
said
Battle of the Planets.
kids can't follow that. Well, that's bollocks.
Every kid is a moron. That's why we can't have more seasons of Owl House, because heaven forfend anyone has to go back and look at the first episode or Google or whatever. Like,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, not to throw shade at the almighty Disney company, but what the, yeah.
Yeah, throw shade.
Marcus is on his
Employees, and I love them so much.
Marcus is on his best behavior tonight, folks.
Hey.
That's all this-
although, you know, you have to, what is it? What's the other one? Gravity Falls.
I've heard that's really good.
I love that show.
Yeah, I've heard that's
You're going to
good.
throw out Disney.
I've
So-
got an 8-year-old at home, so I'm like lining up comics for cartoons for her to watch, and I've heard good things. But like I started with Owl House, and like so.
If you ever get a chance to watch Gravity Falls, watch it. If you want to watch a kid's version of the X-Files, that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
That's a good way to say it to my wife.
Interesting.
Thank you, Saint.
Yeah.
And there was and another side note on that is in the credits they were always throwing out these little clues for something, and I never really paid that much attention to it until I saw an article that they were giving out coordinates for it was like a what do you call it, scavenger hunt. And someone finally figured it out. That
Wow.
there was a scavenger hunt, and they had placed something way out in the woods in Oregon, and they found it.
You find the weirdest and most esoteric things.
That is
about
cool.
stuff.
That's very
Wow.
cool.
Yeah. So, and then I had to go back and watch all these things, and I was writing down the coordinates. I'm like, oh, somebody, if I hadn't, paid attention to it. But anyway.
I'm wondering what it would be like to grow up now. You said you have, how old is your kid, Marcus?
8.
8. Man, I mean, like, Star Wars
She
came
has
out
the
when I
best
was
art.
8, but it was back when I was growing up. The geeky stuff, there wasn't much out there. There's so much out there, I can't keep up with it now. I mean, I've let a lot of good stuff go. I don't even have time to watch it because there's so much great stuff out there now. I mean, it's insane, the difference between the level and the amount and the quality of geeky stuff as opposed to what we grew up with.
Here's an
Indeed.
observation that I'll make. At 8 years old, I was living in England,
Wow.
and the amount
So
of
was I.
Oh, because you mentioned that. The amount of geeky stuff that I was actually exposed to over there because of the wider range of television shows and everything. I mean, everything from, and this will date me, everything from, Doctor Who with Tom Baker, Wurzel Gummidge, Sapphire and Steel, which if you guys have...
I have seen that.
Excellent late 70s, early 80s sci-fi show.
Yeah,
I was
some of that.
exposed to a lot of that geeky stuff. And you know what? Battle of the Planets, and Walt, you'll love this. That was one of the most popular TV shows among myself and my friends over there. And we got in trouble on the schoolyard because we would run around playing Battle of the Planets.
Oh, I just wish that we had been exposed to the original uncut Americanized version.
Amen. I'm right there with you, brother.
Sean subscribed to a streaming service that shows those. I don't remember the name of it. Maybe
you'd find out.
Maybe he'll chime in here.
Would
Go ahead,
you
Marcus.
prefer to be exposed to like the original uncut version of Power Rangers or Power Rangers?
Hey, Tubi.
Yeah, Tubi.
Hey, or Shout Factory. They've put all those on DVD, and
No, I want to know. Would you prefer?
I prefer the original. I prefer the original Japanese versions.
No,
100%.
I mean, Power Rangers is shit, so I don't know why I asked that question, but like it's just throwing it out there. Some kind of matchup where it's all right.
The American version, after watching the original Japanese version and watch the American version, I can't watch. I can't watch. Although now, seeing as Hasbro owns the rights to the Power Rangers, the Japanese version and the American version are exact mirrors of each other. So
interesting.
Again, I don't know why I asked. I'm when Power Rangers came on, basically it replaced X-Men in the slot. And I was like, well, I want my X-Men. I don't care about this.
Yeah.
Well, Billy, I want my X. Oh no, this will not stand. And so they've really been.
And I can understand at the age that you were when they came out, me having seen the original like excerpts of the original Japanese version and these American
with
kids
the American actors,
and I'm like, what the hell is this? I was like, what the hell is this?
What is this stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell, with the difference, the quality of the video of the original Japanese, action versions, and then there's the American cut in. I'm like, oh, I can't. I was like, I can't sit and watch this. I can't watch.
I was too young, and I didn't even know that was the thing up until I was painfully old, and I was like, oh, is that what they did? And like,
yeah.
It's like trying to separate soup after you've been it up, like that can't be.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus, tell us about your writing and drawing process. Like, take us from the beginning to the end of. Since you do the whole thing, I'd be interested to know how you work.
Sporadically, basically, I'm trying to get in terms of the writing. I'm trying to get into a groove, but essentially, what I do is like I got this notepad, which I jotted down a whole bunch of like ideas for the anthology, and then I worked it out from there. And then like I tried doing the cue card thing where you place everything, like which worked for the 3 Deaths of Willis Waterhouse, because I realized I missed something and stuff was out of order and stuff, so that kind of helped me arrange it. With the second issue, Burnt Ends, it's because it's a much tighter, because it's an actual narrative flow where you can't just place with it would, because like with Willis you could just take scenes in and out and kind of arrange it that way. Like the first 10 pages are kind of key core, everything is where with the rest of the stuff like it wasn't so important as you could chop and change to make the story flow better. With this one's case, like I need point A to happen to point C to point D, so that one was like that one I just basically rewrote and edited until I could get it to a point like, well, that's a story, and that's 22 pages. And and for the third issue, I think what I'm going to do is, because it's just one big long action piece, I'm going to like write the tail ends and then kind of do like the I was watching something where like they showed like how the first Star Wars is the perfect kind of escalation and de-escalation in terms of plot lines. Like, you got like getting off Mos Eisley, getting off the side, getting off the Death Star, getting the trench run, and then it kind of goes peaks and troughs, peaks and peaks and peaks, and then so I'm gonna plot the next book that way, and then so that's how I write. I'm just basically until I find some a particular groove that I'm in on, probably going to change up each different time.
You're still evolving, really.
Yeah.
There's also because like it's given that it's such a like comics such a big medium, you can experiment in so many different ways. It's like
absolutely
it would be silly to do like I could do the Marvel method, but I'd work better from scripts and this. And in terms of getting the characters down, I basically just do like I just do batches of 3 designs of each character, and then if I'm working with somebody, I go, hey, which one of these do you like? And they go, well, I like that one. Like I don't want to draw that one, but okay, whatever. And then like I've asked my wife, who's got a much better taste for what I actually want to draw, and then I thumb it out. In all my process, I've discovered like it's best to dedicate a day or two to actually just thumbing the entire book out,
the whole book.
And that's the kind of the process, the production process. And then after that's done and I've got the characters down, it's okay, cool, I'm going to sit and I'm going to each morning and get up, I'm going to sit on my tablet, I'm going to draw a page, and a page a day, a page a day, a page a day, a page a day, which means that I'm not going back to pages to finish off and going, oh, I'll come back to that, which is like what I have been doing in other books. And like if you've drawn something and then you're like 2 months down the line, I need to go back, like I can't be bothered, So this one's it's like it's a regiment, like you keep banker's hours, you sit down, you draw the book, you draw the page, and then that is it. And some days take more days, and others like today I did the page in about like 3-4 hours, because essentially just talking heads montage. Like the pages I did on like the couple pages I did last week, like it would took like until like it took like a full like day like to draw, because like everything was so intricate, and I had to go back the next day to finish it, because like it was just so, everything was just so extra and stuff. So that's basically the process. Like I'd sit down and I draw the page, and if the day is not completed until the page is completed.
Interesting. So are you working digitally, or are you working paper and pencil?
Digitally. I used to do the traditional, but like I'm quite sketchy and feathery and stuff, and like to get to a finished issue would just take forever, because like I was like this one, because I also like using
it cuts a lot of time.
Yeah, and using Clip Studio, I've got the perspective tool, and I like drawing like massive perspective and stuff, and like to use like a like traditional kind of thing, which is like I need like massive boards and stuff, and I haven't got that pace with. So yeah, so it's all digital, and like I again used to be traditional, and it's like, but when I started doing digital, actually this is it. I'm really at home here, and it's just so that's my
if you had an unlimited amount of time,
I'm old.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, on the Clip Studio and the perspective and all that stuff. And I've been speaking of which, I've got, since you can import things in and out, I've been making a collection of building fronts in like Illustrator, and then you can just drop them in there and use the perspective to go from there.
I should do that. That would save me a lot of time. But like, no, I'm drawing them each individually every time. Like, you know, that's
I've got like a pattern of brick walls.
The guy who wrote the DC book on digital illustration, he has a whole thing where he will take photos of building fronts and will map them out for exactly what you're talking about. And he has like a catalog of these things, and then he'll just create the city and then drop those fronts in, which gives him all the detail and stuff on it. On the front end, it's got to be a huge pain, but on the back end, it's got to be a huge time saver.
Yeah, I sit down like when I'm bored. Sometimes I'm like, let me look, and I'll look up buildings or whatever online, and then I'll just make a front, and I'll sit there and I'll make like 5 or 6 fronts, and then I won't even think about it for like weeks. Yeah. So I only do it when I'm bored because it's very time consuming.
It's also a rabbit hole.
It is a rabbit hole.
It's a rabbit hole.
You could literally do that all the time and never get any work done.
So I just do it. I just do it whenever like it's like I need something that's Art Deco, and I'll go look up, type in Art Deco, and I'll look at a few buildings and I'll copy those, and then I won't touch it for like a week or months or whatever, and then I'll get another idea. I need glass buildings. So
the exact same thing can happen.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to steal that. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Is vector is Illustrator? That's in vector drawing, isn't it?
It's a vector, yeah. And there's all sorts of free vector
that's downloads what he's doing.
You can get. So you can
you can do vector in Clip Studio.
Yeah, you can do. I've just started doing it on using vectors on the burnt ends. It's weird to go from using rasterized to vectors. You can think it's just basically.
It's weird.
I'm just kind of I'm getting the hang of it. Like
you're still kind of figuring out your flow. It sounds like, which makes sense. I think a lot of people are always kind of tweaking, what they're doing.
And Sean can help me out with this. Brian, can't remember his last name, but Brian, there's a guy who does all of his comics using Illustrator.
What does he do?
He's done, I want to say it was an Iron Man, but I don't know what he's doing now.
Okay.
He lives near me.
Sean, is it Brian Denham?
Brian Denham, that's it. Brian Denham, that's it.
Some of these names come right to me. For some reason, comic artists, like particularly from like the 80s, 90s, I'm pretty good with those.
Yeah, Brian Denham
I'm not bad.
Does a lot of his, there you go. He does a lot of comics just using Illustrator. I mean, he uses the pencil
Sean's got
tool.
us on Brian Denham. And also, we were talking about the streaming service that shows the original Battle of the Planets that's uncut and apparently has some naughty stuff in it. That's High Dive.
High Dive.
Walt and I will be going to check that one out.
Sean got a great deal, like a year subscription to High Dive, and we spent a couple of nights kind of looking through some of the things, and they've got a lot of really cool content.
Yeah,
it's a great deal to have a year subscription. Is pretty insane. So anyway, High Dive, there it is. Thank you, Sean.
I just don't have the physical hours in the day to be like going through like
right.
I would, but like I just at some point I do need to sleep.
Yeah. Well, if
no.
continue to produce comics at this rate, then I can understand how you don't really have a lot of time to mess around and look at cool old anime.
I spend my weekends doing it. I've been spending my weekends catching up on everything Ultraman.
That's a lot to catch up on, apparently, because they had 46 series and several movies.
And Tubi has a whole series that's not on there. So there's I think from the late 90s up to 2014, there's a whole segment that's missing. And so now I'm on a quest for those.
This might actually be worth the money for me to
Thanks, Gigi.
Go ahead and get, because my husband works at a game store. He's a manager for a game store, and they do a lot of different anime games, and they've got people coming in there talking about different anime shows all the time, and he's been trying to catch up on it. This might actually be something good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the deal is. Before the end of the year, right around Christmas or whatever, they had a special deal. I don't know what it is regularly, but it's probably not too much to get a year subscription to it. Gigi says, Walt, you're doing a wonderful job. So thanks to Gigi. And congratulations to you, Walt.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey, Marcus, let's talk about your comic. It's called it's called The Three Deaths of Willis Waterhouse, but the first section of it, correct, is 13 Shots of Whiskey, right?
Well, it's part of an anthology series. So the anthology series is called 13 Shots of Whiskey.
Okay.
The subtitle would be Three Deaths of Willis Waterhouse.
Thank you.
That's my fault. I probably should have made that at least a little bit clear, but
That's okay.
I didn't. So, but yeah,
That's okay. I wanted to get both out because I know that some people will be looking for one thing and they'll see the other and not be sure if they're at the right place.
Yeah, no, thank you. Again, better that you do my marketing for me than I try and do it myself.
I do that.
Hey, that's actually what we're good for.
Yeah. Marcus, tell us about the premise behind the book and kind of where you're going with it.
Well, so the premise behind the Three Deaths was the fact I wanted to experiment with storytelling techniques, like the the first bit of half the story is him telling his life story, and that's the lie, and then I wanted to show like the narrative dissonance of what has been, what the text says to actually what the actual pictures are and stuff. And then like
he's an unreliable narrator.
Very unreliable. I mean, and then I wanted to again flip it around, so like we then find out why he's an unreliable narrator and why he deserves to be shot in the stomach. And
Cool.
I mean, he does deserve to. He's a douche. So like, and then there's three other main characters in it, and so like using like the panel structures and everything to tell the story from their point of view. So like Sarah, the ex-wife, is in 5 panels. Teneca is in a straightforward 6-panel layout and stuff, and then Chang, the guy who shot him, is in 7 panels. And so like it's just like I mean, it won't affect the story that much because it doesn't really bother. But it's just like, how do I tell this, and then also how do I condense it down to 22 pages? Because it can sprawl and I have ideas, but it's like it's because again, it's just like how can I do this? And so like like the medium kind of dictated the medium dictated the media of it all, and again, after the Kickstarter failed, I was just feeling quite salty and bitter, and there's a lot of things that have made me feel quite salty and bitter, and just the idea of a pompous old white guy who lied about his achievements getting shot by a minority seemed quite appealing to me at the end of 2000. Can't think why.
I think I may know where you're coming from on that, but that's I have no clue why I would know where you're coming from, but
I'd hate to be coy about it, but
So why did you set it in the Old West? What was the influence behind the Old West setting?
And a follow-up question to that is, what's your fascination with the Old West? Because
well, basically, two things is like, one, I discovered that I quite like drawing horses. So
really?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Horses are not easy.
No, but I like drawing them, apparently.
Cool.
Took me until like 30. How old am I now? Like 36, 38 to realize, this is quite fun. And when I was,
it gets worse, Marcus.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
30,
it's harder and harder to figure out it's like, what is my age?
I swear, like I used to be 21. And then and then basically whenever I talk to writers and stuff, and they said, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And I'd throw out a bunch of scenarios. "Oh, I'm down," and I would keep mentioning westerns and stuff, and no one would pick that up at all.
No one wants it.
No one's going to ask me. No one's going to do it for me. I might as well do it myself.
Yeah.
And I don't. So in terms of the fascination of westerns, there was a period in like the late mid 2000s where like Free Temp to Ayuma, The Proposition, the Murder of Jesse James by the Carol Robert Ford, and where there's a bit of a resurgence in kind of gritty kind of westerns and stuff. Like, and that kind of basically if it was scored by Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, it's like that's what I'm into at this particular point. The other Warren Ellis, by the way, and
right.
So and that's kind of like and so yeah, that's kind of I'm not. It's not like I'm enamored with westerns and stuff, but like I just like it's interesting, and then like researching like California in 1850s is quite an interesting period in time and stuff.
Certainly,
yeah.
It's a rabbit hole. You're going down.
Like all these conservative douches are going about like how everything's changing and stuff. Like read Wikipedia from like only like 200 odd years ago. Like there's nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, and there is nothing new we're doing now. Like it's not So it's just really interesting to see like how that kind of like basically everything is different, but everything's exactly the same.
The same.
Yeah.
You mentioned some of the other influences that you mentioned are The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Any of the Magnificent Seven films, Jonah Hex. You want to talk about any of those?
I'm going to be honest with you that no. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly is a beautiful movie, but long and boring and tedious. I've only seen the Magnificent Sevens like once. I just basically like westerns. You need westerns. That's some westerns and stuff. So
right.
And I
like the modern takes better.
I like the modern takes better, yeah. But like I just figured I figured just saying big westerns that we can all everyone get behind.
What was the?
Sorry, I didn't mean to lie or nothing, but it's just like
No, that's okay.
No, that's
all right. What was the recent Netflix movie that came out? Walt, you mentioned it.
The one with Idris Elba and
my favorite guy who plays Kang. What's his name?
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, Marcus?
I've been meaning to because
it's a great movie.
It's really good.
Yeah, and I like the fact that
it really subverts a lot of the you're talking about kind of the long, whatever kind of drawn out old spaghetti westerns and stuff. This is about as much of a modern take on westerns as I've seen.
The Harder They Fall. The
Harder They Fall.
That's what it's called.
It has some kind of fantasy elements in it, but it's also it's a very modern western in every aspect.
I like the fact that they took actual historical characters and made a fictional movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jonathan Majors is way up at the top of my list right now.
Yeah, Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Well, he's all the ladies like
Bond.
Idris.
He shouldn't play Bond though, because Bond is a character you give to people who are on the way up. It's a hand-me-down character.
Of course.
Right.
Well, and
he is already an A-lister. As a Brit, we should be able to give our greatest actor a better role than fucking James Bond.
I'm going to agree with you there. I'm going to agree with you on that one.
Do you know who should play James Bond?
Yeah, let's hear it.
You should watch is
we've talked about this many times.
There's a TV show called We Hunt Together, and Diplo Ola, I think his name is. He would make a fantastic Bond. You should watch We Hunt Together anyway. It's one of the best TV shows that's been out ever. Like in the last few, I think King came
I'm
out.
Taking notes.
Yeah, me too.
And he would make an absolutely fantastic Bond.
How do you feel about Hiddleston?
Why would you
say no? He's already got the attention.
Yeah, same thing. That it would be a step back. As much as I would love to see Idris Elba and Henry Cavill or Tom Hiddleston play Bond, it is a step back for all three of them.
You're right.
I mean, Henry Cavill is like don't think it'd bother him much. He doesn't, it's not. He's not like he's that big of a thing where like, he played Bond for a few years, like
And I wouldn't say that it would be a step back. I would say it would be like a lateral thing You know,
a lateral move.
it's a lateral move.
Thank you, Steve.
And you know, it's like it would be cool to see them play that, but you know, it's like they've already established themselves as something else.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Craig was it, apart from layer cake, no one ever gave him two shits, but like after that, so and that made his career, you know.
Yeah.
So like it's
For sure.
a career maker, not a career, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know how you.
Dalton's career, but then again, Timothy Dalton was kind of wooden as Bond anyway. So
I would hate to be. I mean, I would. On one hand, I would love to be in charge of the James Bond films, but on the other hand, I would hate to have to follow up this Daniel Craig series.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot to live up to, you know, and it was done during a period of time before, you know, whatever, all of the crazy, you know, woke stuff and Me Too things. I don't know how you respond to that series next. I don't know what you do next.
All I know is since they started off with a remake, I want to see Moonraker again, done a little better.
I just watched Moonraker. I just watched Moonraker about a month ago.
You know what? That
just
movie
out of
is,
curiosity.
It's cheesy, but I
fun.
love
Still
that
fun.
movie. It's a fun movie.
Still fun.
I can't be messing with Roger Moore. That smarmy twat gets on my nerves.
That's exactly why I wanted to watch it, because it had been you know, literally decades. It had literally been decades since I had seen those movies, and so I wanted to see it kind of with fresh eyes or whatever. And I mean, what you said is not off target.
No, it's not. But I will say this: it's a guilty pleasure movie for me.
It is. I mean, it's
a very guilty pleasure movie.
It does not it doesn't age well, but if you you know, as a curiosity, it's interesting.
See, Live and Let Die is my guilty pleasure movie when it comes to Bond movies.
See, I like that movie
One
too.
Halle Berry, isn't it? Is that the one with Halle Berry, or is that one of Madonna?
No,
Live and Let Die is in the '60s with Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
No.
There's no.
Live and Let Die is with Roger Moore.
It's Roger Moore.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Thunderball.
It's the movie that put actress Jane Seymour on the map.
Right.
Oh, okay.
See, there's like key, like with every Bond, there's like every actor who's been Bond, there's like key movies where like you just have to go back and watch it. And Live and Let Die is one of those ones where I can go back and watch it. Like, it's for me, it's like a serious Bond movie for me.
Yeah.
With Roger Moore.
Skyfall is my serious Daniel Craig movie.
For me, it's Casino Royale.
I love Skyfall too. That's actually my favorite.
It's the first
Skyfall's good.
I had a really bad day, so I went to see it.
And of course, you know, you got GoldenEye with Pierce Brosnan.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite Brosnan. This GoldenEye.
N64 game.
Yeah, there's that too. And then there's the one with Michelle Yeoh, which broke her out. You know.
Yep.
We'll
get to it, girl.
Yeah, just relax.
Even though I was like totally intrigued with Michelle Yeoh far before, you know, her James Bond appearance.
Yeah.
Steve wants to do a shout out to 1883. He says it's a massively brutal show on Paramount Plus.
It's in my list.
I've watched the first couple of episodes. It is on Paramount Plus, so unless you subscribe to that, you're not going to get to see it. But it'll
be on DVD.
You know, it's right. It's the first two episodes were really good. First two episodes.
Oh, and they filmed episodes. They filmed episodes right here in town where me and Fifth are at. So you know.
And apparently in Guthrie here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
What's it about?
It's what is it? What's the show?
It's like a wagon train. It's like Wagon Train. It's a
prequel of other show.
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. That's it. Prequel to Yellowstone.
Yeah, it has the family and stuff from Yellowstone. But yeah, it's basically a bunch of people decide that they're going to get in a wagon train and head north to, what is it, Montana or something, North Dakota. And all of the crazy, I mean, it's one of the most brutal, realistic, you know, Western things that I've ever seen. It's really good. It's really, at least the first couple episodes, but you got to get Paramount Plus to see the whole thing.
Pass.
See how they get you?
I'm not sure if I could actually get that over here either.
Steve want? Oh, you might not. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. You might not. Again, it'll probably be out on whatever Blu-ray, DVD. Who's going to play Jaws? Ben Affleck.
No, that's funny. Hey, Steve, look up.
I got the guy. The guy. He's a basketball player. He was in the John Wick film. What is his name? Bobon or something?
No. I'm going to go with Omos. Omos from WWE. Let's switch up the race on that too. Let's go with Omos because he's like 7 foot something,
right?
And built like a big brick, you know. Right. So let's go with Omos.
Kagetsu from Stardom because she is awesome as fuck. So she should be the shark. She would make a good shark.
Who's that?
Kagetsu from Stardom's a Japanese wrestling outfit.
Oh, okay, very interesting. That got
got
some very interesting responses there, Steve.
That too. Yeah,
that's a good question. Shell wants to talk about Boba Fett. We will talk about that later. And by the way, I have not seen the last 2 episodes of Boba Fett, but I know what you're talking about because the internet wants to spoil everything.
And you know what? I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah, I kind of.
So maybe
either.
we just won't talk about it. We acknowledge the fact that it happened, but we're not going to talk about it.
It was a thing
Sorry,
that
Shell.
would have been a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Had the internet not absolutely whatever.
I didn't think it was a nice surprise, but that's just me.
Damon likes Bobon. Thank you. Yeah, Bobon. He's a cool dude.
I'd like to do a Siskel and Ebert thing with you, Marcus. Just me and you. That'd be awesome.
That would be hysterical.
I would love for you to do
that. Or if you've ever seen the movie from the from the 90s called
Adult
Hollywood Shuffle. Do you know that about that movie, Marcus?
Hollywood Shuffle.
Hollywood Shuffle with now I can't remember the actor's name. Anyway, it's about a black dude trying to break into acting, and it's about stereotypes. You'll love it. He's got a wild imagination. There's a scene in there called sneaking into movies, and it's his imagination is him and his buddies. They sneak into movies and then watch them and critique them. You'll love that bit. If anything, just watch that bit on YouTube.
Oh dear.
Welcome, Damon.
Hollywood Shuffle.
Shuffle.
Yeah. Welcome, Damon. Thanks for chiming in there. Steve says, I give this movie the finger.
Yes, that's the best part.
Marcus,
yes.
What you are doing this? You're offering your comic through Etsy as a physical comic. You said you had a little disappointment with Kickstarter. Is that the reason why you're doing it there as opposed to doing it through Kickstarter or Indiegogo?
You pretty much basically because I'd actually finished the book and everything I've got some cash there to buy. I could have put it out, but Devin was like, oh no, we will I figured out the logistics of it and everything. So I was ready to go. Obviously, I didn't realize I hadn't drew that page, but all intents and purposes, I was ready to go. And then they were like, no, we get the funding via Kickstarter and stuff. I was like, okay, fine, we'll do that. And then it's the initial success, people did turn up, and if you went by the initial success and people turning up, oh, we'd have been tracking to do it and stuff, and then that dropped off, and it's I don't need some tech bros to tell me that I'm a failure. I can shit on my own doorstep. So you make me feel bad about something I've spent so long making and shit. And it's I need so. And it's I'm not doing that again, because if the cats who had turned up, because in theory, if those cats had turned up when we had a physical book out, we'd have made money. Right. And we'd have made something back towards at least the cost of production. We'd have had something out. Me and Devin would be sitting here with 300 comics apiece, saying it was stuff to sell and stuff. And we'd have ended 2021 on a win. Right. And we didn't, for the sheer sake of algorithmic foolery. And I was like, I want to do that again. So that's why I have the resources to release it now myself. So that's why I'm doing it that way, because I don't have to. I don't want to be beholden to like Kickstarter and stuff to put my book out when I can do. I mean, I get why other cats do it and stuff, and if you don't have the resources, I realize I'm in a position of luck and privilege to be able to do this and stuff, because because all I've really got paid for is production of the book, because so the only thing it's costing me is my time to do it, and by going via Kickstarter, it's cost me my time, the book, and now also the fact that I don't like the thing that I spent ages drawing. There is a little black stain on it, which I know is petty, I know it's childish, and I know I should be like, no, you should be bigger than that, but
no, I get it.
I'm a small, tiny little man who takes stuff. But that's why it's on it. Because I can essentially.
That's cool though.
There is no one correct method. We had someone on here who was doing it through GoFundMe. They had a GoFundMe campaign, and we've seen people use Patreon and stuff. I mean, whatever works. That's cool. I mean,
I'm on Patreon and Ko-fi. If you want to help support the next 2 books, that's how I'm doing it. Go there and donate to my links and there. You'll be doing me no end of help there. But
there's Patreon and there's the Ko-fi links, and we'll go through all of those here in a moment.
Yeah.
What do you have coming up next? What's your next plans?
For the next, basically, I sort of planned out the next 3 to 4 issues of 13 Shots of Whiskey, and hopefully, basically, once I've got the next 3 out, I'm going to start going off to publishers and stuff and going I've got a good idea, a long form idea in my noggin that I'm going to go here's what I've got, I've proven I can do the work, here's my pitch, and I want you to publish, because as much as I can do it by myself, I'm also there's benefits to having a publisher out there doing it for you, because honestly the logistics of going typing up emails, can I please come on your podcast, or can you please review me, please? I've got my cap in hand, I'm not proud or anything, but I'm not really, and also I'm not really good at writing emails and stuff. So and just have someone go, hey, we're a publisher, that looks better than going, hi, I'm a random little whatever, and then they can deal with all that noise.
You've proven yourself. You have the content there. And you can let it speak for itself.
So if there are any publishers watching this, hi, I can do a book by myself in 7 weeks.
Yeah, who knows?
A little quick if you pay me a lot,
Absolutely. All right, well let's get all of your links out there, and make sure that everyone can find you.
Michelle had a question for him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's. Oh,
I'm kind of curious too.
All right. Michelle wants to know what was the name of the band you were in.
The one I was singing in was called Bear versus Rhino. Before that, I was in a band called Lucky
awesome.
8. And if you go on YouTube, you will find solo acoustic stuff of me doing stuff solo acoustically. I've got a very unique voice that lends itself quite well to hardcore punk and everything, and not so much to the acoustic stuff. But yeah, Bear versus Rhino, Lucky 8, or Markus Pattern an individual. Solo.
Hey, that's a good question. That's a good question, Michelle.
You can't forget Bear versus Rhino.
Bear versus Rhino, yeah. No, you can't forget that one.
You can't forget that one.
I didn't think so. Basically, when I chose that name, at the time, all my favorite bands either had the word bear or rhino in the title, Feed the Rhino or I Wrestled a Bear Once was one of my favorite bands.
Thought you'd cover both in the title.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
All right. I like it. We got another comment here. Make sure. Steve's in on the punk stuff.
I wanted to do a one-time band for my 50th birthday and have a 50th birthday party, one-time band, and I wanted to name the band Hwasong 14.
Why didn't we do it?
Because, you'd have to get the band, you got to get the players together, and then you got to get together and practice at least one time, you know.
You say
And I had
poisson, like fish?
no, Hwasong 14, as in the name of the Korean missile,
Oh,
the North
okay,
Korean
I got
missile.
That totally went over my head, but like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I was
So
gonna call.
so at the time, you know, the Korean missile thing was the big thing. I was like, oh, Hwasong 14 would be a great name for a band for my birthday.
It's good stuff.
I was gonna call my daughter 40. My daughter's name is Anish Shirsty, and I was gonna call her 47. So initials would be AK-47. But
Nice.
apparently, you can't have numbers in this country. So
Oh my God, I love that.
her middle name's Danger now.
You could spell it out in words.
I love
so
that.
No, you can.
You can't.
It can't be.
Wow.
No,
You can't go FORTY.
We tried. They said like, no, you can't do that. Well, we're going to call it Danger then. No, that's fine. So
Come over to America. You can name your kid anything over here,
anything.
apparently.
Absidy.
Anything goes.
Absidy. I think you've heard about Absidy over here, haven't you?
what?
Absidy?
Absidy.
What
Somebody got an airline attendant got in trouble for making fun of a little girl's name. Her name was Absidy, and
Ab City, like as in like your abs, but the wrong city state. What?
no, as in ABCD.
Oh, yes, I've heard.
Absidy. That's how it was spelled.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, yeah, I'd make fun of it, but I wouldn't publicly make fun of it. Oh yeah, the caramelized onions.
Wasn't that little
What is that one?
girl? Like, wasn't she Nigerian or some shit? Like, wasn't?
I
Like,
know. Oh no.
I could have sworn that she was the little cat wasn't of
No.
U.S. descent. I'm pretty certain she was Nigerian or something like that.
No, she's very how can I say this?
A honky.
Very, very American Caucasian. So
Fair play.
Damon wants us to produce a musical, I guess. I don't know. He says that Hawkeye features a musical as well as Peacemaker. How about the Task Force gang come together with your own musical?
I wrote an EP in about a month. I can do it. I can do it. I'm quite prolific.
I just want to do various. I just want to do cartoon theme songs in various version types of varying genres of music.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
All right,
I can
Marcus,
do
we're
this
gonna
all
get
day, Damon.
We're gonna, good Lord. Okay, we're gonna get through your links here, Marcus. On Twitter, you are NJX07.
I am.
We mentioned your Patreon, which is you can go there and help fund the next project, right?
Yeah.
I know Steve's on his way there right now.
I hope so.
You're a saint.
The coffee account, Markus Pattern, pretty easy. Pretty easy.
Marcus with a K. With a K.
Okay.
Right.
With a K.
If you want to go get a physical copy of the first issue, right?
Yeah. 13 shots of whiskey. The first issue. The 3 Deaths of Willis Waterhouse is at my Etsy, along with a whole bunch of prints as well. If you're going to be
You know what? You have it for a very reasonable price. I'd also like to add. You are not.
only 22 pages.
Yeah, but I mean, independent comics could go. I mean, we were talking about Kickstarter. Some people charge like $25 for an individual issue of this.
Hey,
You're under what Marvel and DC are charging right now.
Yeah.
All I can say is I have a job now, and I can actually.
Yeah, guys,
things.
help support our guests. Don't only bring us guests, but also help support the guests that we have, please.
Hey, even the conversion
feel
rate,
like a winner.
guys, makes it affordable. Okay, come on.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out there. Help our guests out.
I mean, considering I imagine there's going to be a lot of American traffic, once you see the postage and you'll be like, oh shit, it's not quite as cheap as you thought it's.
Right.
It's like postage is
It's always
it's a
the
pain.
case. Yeah, postage is ridiculous.
And then when you think about how our postage was, our postage system was slowed down for the last 4 years. So
Still is
It's
more.
almost like a public commodity that does a load of good for people and doesn't really line the pockets of a bunch of corporate fat cats. Is not a thing we want to have happen in 2022. Can't think why, you know. Well, not to put my socialist tinfoil hat on, but I'm going to.
A shell is all about the cartoon theme song idea.
Hey,
I know, right?
Yeah.
That would
Steve
be
says there.
awesome.
Well, Jonathan King does a really good version of the Pokemon theme that just gets me right in the fucking feel.
what's his name? The guy who does the top 40 songs as like old style jazz or whatever. I can't remember his name. Scott something. Anyway, he's got one where he does cartoon theme songs as 90s slow jams.
I'll have to check them out because I only know the redhead girl Robin, who does like old school like jazz stuff.
Yeah, this guy does. My favorites are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Transformers because, you know, hey.
I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Maxine's back again. She said she taught for 30 years.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
So there you go. Steve says that we need a dubstep remix of the Speed Racer thing.
We do. We actually do. And
I know Speed Racer.
I know a few people who are DJs, and I had them on the list to be in the band. So, you know.
I was talking to my mate about this. I'm fairly certain that dubstep is just literally just Skrillex. And it was just a title to fix it all kind of EDM because, I don't know, the Guardian can't be bothered to make up more than one genre. But like I can't think of any dubstep that was like anything. That's like, well, no, that's
Skrillex.
Yeah,
that drop and everything. That's just his effect, and like everything else, like no, it's not. It's
yeah.
not,
And you know what? And I always thought, you know, when people were trying to, you know, I don't know how you feel about this, but when people were like, "Oh, you got to listen to Skrillex, got to listen to Skrillex," I thought he was very overrated, personally. But that's just.
I mean, that one song he keeps playing over and over again is very good.
Yeah.
And it was really good when it showed up in that Scott Pilgrim movie.
Yeah, and then everything else was like.
Nero is greater than Skrillex.
I will agree with Steve on that one.
I don't know Nero.
Rings a bell, but like.
Writing that down. I got homework.
I'll let you handle that homework, Dirk.
Certainly not.
My style.
Marcus, is there any other things that I didn't put up there as far as your links that we need, or anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I think you've got everything. I know I should be trying to do the YouTube thing a bit more, but like, just can't be bothered. So you know, I might start doing live streams at some point, but like again, just the time and
those are popular. I mean, are you talking about drawing?
Yeah.
Yeah, people love to watch artists draw.
The thing is, though, like when you set up and you're there, and like no one turns up, and you're sitting.
I know.
Silence case of like, I need to concentrate, but I can't concentrate in abject silence. This is kind of, you know, so if no one's turning up, but again, I probably will start again, but like I need to get because really I only have like a certain hours that I can do it in, and like if it's early in the morning, I really need to kind of concentrate to get the sketching and stuff done, and in the afternoon my wife and daughter are home, so I can't really like no you shush because you know while I'm on live stream with 10 people,
right. You know, sometimes when people come in, though, that is people like that, you know, because they get to see your family and kind of participate.
My daughter is very intense, so she will be all up and everyone's grill while I'm or the or like
that could be good video.
Okay, so that is where you start to leverage her as your marketing exec.
No. No, not yet, no.
Or it's a let her come in like once a month or something. Like, you know, if you're doing like one show a week, have her come in like every other day or so.
So I'm literally in my living room.
Oh yeah.
And this is where I can't do that. Like you know, like yeah. If I had my own little room tucked away by myself, I could do it. But like, you know, it's like, you know, I can only be rude to my wife for so long before
Man cave.
Hey, our buddy Sean. said
Yeah.
that he joined your Patreon and he looks forward to more cool stuff.
You're an absolute saint. I shall get some more cool stuff up there soon. I promise.
There you go.
Thank you.
So
I
there's-
appreciate that, man. You
There's
you
a
know,
little help. There's a little help for
I can't be sincere about my gratitude, but I genuinely am. But like, you know,
Hey, okay. Well, we're going to move on to the next subject then. We're going to have a little round table. Marcus, do you want to stick with us, or are you ready to wrap it up? It's got to be 2 a.m. there.
yeah. How much longer we got?
We got a long time because these guys are windy.
As long as you want to be here.
But
I
if
mean,
you want to, if you want to stick,
I'm awake.
yeah,
It's cool.
yeah. If you want to
you're going to
step
stick
out,
with us.
because if
All
you
right.
want to step out, it's not gonna hurt us.
Right? Yeah. You just tell us whenever you're ready to
mean-
wrap it up.
I mean, you're 6 hours ahead of us right now. You're in the future. You're literally in the future. We're talking to the future, y'all.
Still shit, and you know. Sorry.
All right.
Oh, we're-
It's still Dookie. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. We're moving on to our next segment here. Okay, it's been a little while since we've done this thing, and so I just thought it would be fun to kind of throw around a few subjects, and if anyone has wants to put in comments and have us talk about stuff, we're just going to do a round table here. I'm going to throw some stuff out, have a brief thought or two, and then we'll move on to the next thing and see how much we can cover. Let's see what the Sean says awesome to what you said earlier. He's looking forward to what you put on the Patreon.
You're
So,
awesome.
yeah,
You're
Yeah.
awesome.
he is awesome. All right. Well, the first thing
Pretty
that
awesome fans, to be
the
honest.
first thing that I have to mention here, which just happened, I just read something. I think it was Sean that shared it. Douglas Trumbull, visual effects pioneer, one of the masterminds behind the visual effects on some of the most visually audacious science fiction films of all time, including 2001: A Space Odyssey, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Blade Runner, died Monday from complications from mesothelioma. He was 79. That's actually not that old for working on 2001.
Oh,
He must have been really young.
He would have been young.
Yeah.
That 2001 is 1969.
Yeah.
They did it even before then. He was in his 20s when he
Yeah, he
worked
was
on that.
cheap.
One of my all-time favorite visual effects guys. I mean, like iconic, amazing stuff. If you go look at 2001 now, it holds together exceptionally well.
it holds together quite well.
My God, there is no digital work there, folks, and there's no special edition where they
Yeah.
went in and removed wires or anything. I mean, everything in that movie was right there in front of the screen. It's pretty extraordinary.
You want to know something funny on me for my part? Like, I don't remember anything about that movie other than the special effects. If you were to tell me what that movie is about, I can't tell you. I really can't. And I've seen that movie maybe 3 or 4 times, and I've never paid attention to the dialogue or what the story's about. All I've done is sat there and watched the special effects. So I guess I'm going to have to go back and watch the movie and actually pay attention to what's being said.
It's mesmerizing,
Yeah.
but it's also, I mean, like Marcus says, it's long.
Yeah.
It's long, and
Yeah.
I mean, it is the anti, whatever, yeah, the anti Zoomer
Yeah.
movie. I mean, if we need everything in 15-second segments,
That's
know,
not the movie. No.
that first 15 or 20 minutes where there are apes running around and they are not talking is going to kill you. And then when they transition to the outer space shots and you have another
20
10-minute
minutes of
docking
something dead.
segment,
Yeah.
it's going to kill
Yeah.
you.
Kill you.
Yeah.
You're not going to, but the thing, I mean, 2001, again, both brilliantly created by Stanley Kubrick, and very much a product of its time, very psychedelic, is kind of more of a meditative experience than it is just a film. You know, it's like one of those things that if you're on something, it's probably a lot better.
There's quite a few movies.
Preferably natural. You know,
right?
So
right.
I saw it in the cinema, like in an old the cinema was around in the 60s when and it was on like a small screen, and it's really like as close to the original presentation as you're going to get. And the other bit, and I fell asleep in the bit where before they got to the random bit at the end, like when they're going through like the psychotropics,
right through the tunnel, the Stargate.
That's like that sent me off to sleep. So like from what I remember of it and when I've seen it at home, like it is
I have tried
to work on.
I have tried to sit through that movie, and I just cannot do it.
Like I said, I've sat through
and
it.
I understand.
I've sat through it, but I can't tell you anything about the dialogue other than what is it? Hal speaking, hello, Dave.
Right.
Whatever. That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah.
You know that Daisy line? Apparently, that's the first ever. I don't know if it's the first ever recording or the first ever bit of thing that a computer made. I think it might be the first ever electronic voice sang Daisy. That's why it's in the movie.
First electronic voice, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought I was saying something that I didn't realize everyone knew that. Like, sorry.
Steve says 2001 would kill the TikTok generation.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Oh my God.
And
Definitely.
Sean says that 23 minutes before the first word is spoken. So, not.
I mean, if they sit through Samurai Jack, then they can sit through 2001.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or Primal.
Primal is the
Primal. Primal that's off the hook.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Well worth the Transylvania movies to get Primal.
What was that movie that Mel Gibson produced about the Indians in South America?
Apocalypto.
I mean, like most of that movie, there's very little dialogue in that movie at all.
Right, and what the dialogue they have is like whatever that it's not subtitled, right?
It's basically ancient Mayan, and no,
right, which even like people from that area do not talk, so do not speak.
Because that history that he's, I mean, especially that history, it's like it's all like you know how like the American history is just made up because you conquered everything. Well, the Aztecs were conquered. And then someone rewrote their history. So whatever history we have of the Mayans and the Aztecs, it's not true at all. It's just
it's like it's written by the winners, as they say.
Yeah. Sorry, Marcus. When I lived over there, I went to your schools. I didn't go to an American school, so learning American history from the British point of view is what's making me laugh.
Even now, like if you get political news from overseas, it's a hell of a lot better than what we get here.
I do not watch any other news except for BBC.
There you go. I mean, because they're dispassionate about it. They don't have a dog in the hunt, so you get a little bit less bias, which is what everything we get here is just absolutely chock full of bias.
Yeah, they know how to be unbiased
on both sides.
Because your news is infotainment, whereas ours is
regulation. Yeah.
If you were to take our news from the newspapers, it's pretty much the same.
I'm going to have to step out for a moment.
Okay, that's cool, man.
So
come back.
Keep talking. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
that's
so
cool.
like it's basically that same kind of noise, but like in theory, the BBC is as unbiased as you can get, as unbiased as a collection of human beings can be. Yeah. And if you look at the way that like where it goes up, like that. Like there's 4 news barons in this country, like only one of whom is remotely left. So like the BBC is right by the fact that they're trained by the Daily Fail and everything like that. So, I mean, in fairness, they piss me off as much as they piss off my right wing friends and stuff. So it's equally irritating.
They're definitely more reliable than most of the new services here in the United States.
When I go stay with my mom, I watch the BBC because she has it on her cable service and stuff. It's like actually getting news.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the days of Walter Cronkite. Nice. Oh my god.
The problem is, I think it's like everything's just so short and soundbitey. Like there's, I watch bits. Like it's like no, you've like Nadia Inucci pointed out, like basically like if like a story's like got like 5 component parts, but you need to get into like a 5-minute section, you're only going to do like 3 parts because that is a 5-minute section, and you're going to miss out like the say Channel 4 News did a bit on NFTs, which are terrible and the worst thing ever, and like they failed to mention the environmental cost of NFTs, and then they failed to mention that the one to sell for $6 million was basically a crypto bro essentially just buying it for himself and saying, look how much money I've got to spend and stuff. It was a again, they didn't report that part of it because like this, oh look how much money this JPEG is making. Again, like,
as someone who's been trained in journalism and news reporting, picking out the bits and pieces of that 5-minute segment is hard, and you have to decide as a journalist which direction you want to take that story and what you want to focus on. And focusing on, there's things you want to focus on, but making sure you get all of that in there, it is really hard.
I'm not, and I'm not to disparage. I do realize there is hardness to it, and like it is a shame when it's not. Yeah, it is a shame when it's. Fuck it. They should have they have 24 hours to do it in, but they don't have enough time to say anything in.
Right. That is true. Maxine says, I was going to say what Dirk said. I saw it when it first, 2001. I saw it when it first came out and hated it. Maybe I should have been drunk or stoned. People.
That's my mom, Marcus. That's
his mom. They talk about how back in the 60s, people would get high and then go see it specifically for that final scene where they're going through the Stargate. Because I imagine it was pretty,
I don't know.
Again,
there's never once made a movie that better. Made Radiohead better, but I can't imagine it make the fuck. I suppose it was surround sound.
Also, Douglas Trumbull also did Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which was amazing. That starship, particularly the stuff at the end, was really, really iconic and spectacular.
That's what
and again, not digital. I mean, this is models and stuff that they created.
Practical.
And he also did Blade Runner, which is my all-time favorite film, and another film where the special effects hold together exceptionally well all this time.
The last one that he had, it was like proper like in-camera models, and then after that, it's case of, well, we're going to have the CGI creep in. It's the last proper. Then again, So you probably know that already. So it's a hell of a resume for a cat to have as well.
Oh yeah,
just really spectacular. I mean, so influential and probably got overshadowed by guys like John Dykstra, who did the Star Wars stuff, and some of the later guys. During the 70s and 80s, these special effects guys were like rock stars. They were huge because they could create this magic, and you don't. It's kind of not the same as it used to be ever since the digital effects took over. But I mean, these guys, like the iconic scene with the the car flying into downtown Los Angeles. They built that city. I mean, that's not a painting; it's an actual city that they built in small miniature form and then filmed. It's extraordinary what these guys did with honestly very little,
with models
and camera tricks and stuff. The thing with in 2001 where the pin is floating in the spaceship and then they reach out and grab the pin and stuff, they had that stuck on a piece of like a plate of glass, and it's it's an eye trick.
It's a lost art.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I reckon you'd because I reckon you'd find smaller indie kind of cats doing like whenever I've made like kind of small indie movies and stuff, like I'd say maybe one or two, like those kind of camera tricks. They're really fun to do, and if you can execute them and stuff, and like sure you could build it all there's a place for that CGI, but also like they're just fun to do. So like I think you'd find them in smaller indie movies where it's a bit more kind of cost effective to do it that way, because like it takes forever to render something, but like you can stick a bit of pen to plastic and stuff.
We have had a bit of a return to some of the practical effects because your eye can tell the difference between whether it's something that's actually physically there and something that's not there. So if you can figure out how to fake it live, and it also gives the actors something to play off of as opposed to playing off of a tennis ball on a
it's
a
also
pole.
These days it's also cheaper, so
in some cases it could be cheaper.
Here's a good example. Dan and I were watching Deep Space Nine the other day, and of course they go down to a planet, and I usually don't complain about Star Trek stuff too awful much, but in this case it was very evident that the backdrop was painted.
Yeah.
You could tell.
I mean, those guys probably had a week to get ready for.
Yeah, I've noticed that more with Deep Space Nine than I have with a lot of the other shows. But then again, watching Star Trek Discovery, which I do like a lot, you lose some of that with all the CGI effects.
Yeah.
But also, like DS9 and all that stuff, we weren't watching them on good quality TVs.
No, we weren't.
That's true.
It's a good point.
True.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like watching The Usual Suspects, like who Kaiser Soze is now because the quality of the DVD is so good. Like, what would have been blacked out and stuff by the flames, that the contrast just isn't there. So now
we're watching everything in 1080p or higher now.
Right.
Okay.
We're not designed for that.
But then again, considering I don't know how Disney Plus was over there, but like over here, it's like, well, you're paying for this service. What we're going to do, since it's COVID, we're going to slow this quality right down. So everything's kind of skipping, and so I was watching these. Everyone's going to make the effects high fidelity, but like I was watching it on like a janky screen and stuff, and like it didn't really ruin it that much. So like so there are things to be said for like just like you don't need a proper high def 4K kind of screen. It doesn't, when you could just and it would smooth out a lot of the edges if like you basically just put like a blur filter on top of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actors would appreciate that.
Everyone would appreciate it because I could cover a multitude of things, and like DS9, the greatest Star Trek series, wouldn't be befuddled by the fact that like they had to paint the backdrop in 2 weeks, and now you're watching it on a screen too big for it.
Right. So true. Michelle says that she loves Apocalypto and that she doesn't watch much media at all. I've never seen Apocalypto.
It's actually a really good movie. It really is.
I heard, but Mel Gibson movie just seemed like a lot to take in.
Damon says, I still think that the ghost cab driver from the classic Ghostbusters movie is truly amazing.
Okay, everything from the classic Ghostbusters movie is truly amazing, okay?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Also holds up exceptionally well. And I don't think they've tweaked that or done anything with it since it was released.
They haven't.
I mean, there are some things, you could see some of the effects, you can see how they're cutting it out around the figures, They could smooth some of that out, but I mean, I
think the ghost effects though are designed to be that way. Then, so like it benefits like the fuzziness because that's how they designed the ghosts and stuff. So
for sure.
Anyway. I don't know what I added with that bit of the comment, but that's
all right. Anyway, farewell to Douglas Trumbull, a guy who, when I was growing up, he was a hero of mine, because he created such iconic work in, films that I really loved and stuff. And so farewell to him. And it's nice to talk about practical effects again.
It's fun stuff.
One thing I definitely want to get on here for a few reasons is let's talk a little bit about Spider-Man No Way Home.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, you haven't seen it. We're not going to spoil it for you. How about that?
I haven't seen it either.
Do you haven't seen? Two of you haven't seen it. Walt, have
know,
you seen the movie?
I'm getting yelled at from my daughter and my niece because I haven't seen it, and they're like, "We want to talk to you about it," and I'm like,
You
"Well, I
should
haven't seen
see.
it."
Everyone should see that movie.
Everyone should see that movie.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
you're the last two people on the planet. Congratulations, who have not seen the movie.
I
No,
live in a
no,
family
Dan,
group.
Dan hasn't seen it either, so you know.
I will say this: I think that unlike unlike Boba Fett, for some reason, everyone was on their best behavior
Surprisingly enough,
about
apparently
the stuff that happened. In no way, we won't spoil it now. You know, because two of
I'm not
our
gonna-
people here have
I'm not going to
seen it.
spoil it.
Tom Holland's
But
mouth shut. Did
in
they-
every
guys
other
answer?
in every other film or television show, if there's a big surprise on it, it's on everything the day after it's released, and everyone's talking about it. And for some reason on this one, everyone stayed quiet. I mean, they're still pretty. I mean, I wouldn't go reading articles because I have seen people talk about it now. But I mean, it's 2 months removed from the thing being released, and it's still not really out there. But folks, Beth and Marcus, go see this movie before you accidentally get the thing spoiled for you.
And here's what I can say about it.
Time.
No, I understand. I get it.
I'll say if you enjoyed Into the Spider-Verse, which I thought Into the Spider-Verse was the best Spider-Man movie ever.
I enjoyed
agree.
that one. Some of the
I agree, and you could still make a case that it
You
is
can
the best
still
Spider-Man.
you can still make a case for it being the best movie. But you know, I mentioned that No Way Home is the best Spider-Man movie, and then somebody said, "Well, I still think Into the Spider-Verse is the best one." I said, "Well, we still haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse 2, so right now,
2
right?
and 3, they committed to 2 movies.
So right
Look,
now,
guys, I just caught up on Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Okay, I mean,
I still have not seen Venom.
I caught up on that. And,
I wasn't going to mess with Venom. Didn't look. Then I thought, well, and something about I don't know why I decided to get it, and I watched it and thought, this is the stupidest movie I've ever seen. I am absolutely adoring it. I love that movie. You know, I think it's Tom Hardy just being absolutely fantastic.
Eddie Brock is my trash husband. That's just
Yeah.
I only like the only thing I liked about this movie about it. I mean, it's okay. I won't say that it's the worst.
Venom?
Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I won't say that it's the worst, but I will say that I enjoyed the end credit scene.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I've
haven't
got it,
seen
but
it, so-
I haven't got around to watching it yet. I mean, meaning to, but again, so many things to
That
watch.
breakfast scene, Walt.
So
Yeah.
much stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Damon says you're right, Beth. Everything was great about those Ghostbusters films.
yeah.
Steve says No Way Home was
Are you
so
referring to
amazing.
The second one. When you say those Ghostbusters movies, are you referring to the second one?
Probably the first and second one.
The
I guess
second-
you'd say.
The first and second one. The second one, I had to see it a second time for it to grow on me. I haven't seen the all female version.
I've heard the all-female version is very good.
Director's cut is very good. It basically the stuff people were moaning about for the theatrical, the director cut put it back in.
Yeah, that's what I've heard about that.
So what you're saying is if I ever watch it, make sure it's the director's cut.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know there was a director's cut. I
didn't
watched the television version, which means some stuff might have been cut, or I mean, whatever. You got commercials in the middle, but what I saw was terrible. It was a comedy that was not funny, and the best thing about it was Kate McKinnon.
See, I would say the best thing about it was was Thor, and I actually
Really?
Chris Hemsworth
Marcus.
just does it for me, man. And I really like the bad guy. I thought he was proper creepy. I think how light the girls were and Thor was, he something about him just kind of nah, you're like a little bedroom dwelling incel. You are a creepy motherfucker. So that's what did it for me. And I mean, it's not the best movie ever made. It's like a solid like 6 maybe, which is better than average.
For me, it's always going to be the original 2 Ghostbusters, and I just saw Ghostbusters Afterlife, and all I can say is that movie paid perfect homage to Harold Ramis and the characters and the progression of the story. As a story writer, I watched where they went with this movie as I was watching it, and I'm proud. I'm proud to say I'm a Ghostbusters fan because of the way they closed everything up.
That's good.
That was kind of my next subject. I still have something I want to say about Spider-Man. Our next subject is going to, since you mentioned it, our next subject is going to be the Ghostbusters Afterlife. Who's seen that?
I have not.
I have not. Though, if
Okay,
my
well,
kid
I've seen
was a
it.
boy, his middle name would have been Ramus because he died just before she was born. So it would have been like that. It would have been.
Oh,
the middle
wow.
name.
Ghostbusters Afterlife was the rare occurrence of them doing this routine where they bring the old guys back into the new thing, and so it's not a reboot, it's a continuation, it's a relaunch or whatever they call it.
It was the closing chapter.
It was easily better than the second Ghostbusters movie. Phenomenally, in my opinion, phenomenally better than the female Ghostbusters movie, and in some ways was better, in my opinion, was better than the first Ghostbusters movie. It was masterfully done.
Yeah.
It was a case where the writers and the director managed to bring kind of that Steven Spielberg-esque ability to create characters that you love and that you want to, you want to see them succeed and so on. All of the people that they cast for the movie was exceptional, and they really stuck, which I will not say, but they really stuck the landing on this. The final act was not a letdown. So they introduced all these new characters that I loved all of them. They were fantastic. I hope we get to see them in the next movie. But managed to integrate the old thing into this new deal and it not be cheesy and it be, honestly, in my opinion, even more effective than the original movie as far as the emotional payoff at the end.
Oh,
it was
the emotional
just
payoff was
really
yeah.
spectacular how they did that.
Okay, look, I'll be honest. I needed tissues.
Yeah,
Hey,
And
for real.
I'll say that you do that for the No Way Home too.
oh yeah, I've heard that.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
heard about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I've been told have a box, and that's
Oh, yeah.
Caitlin telling me have a box of tissues.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, I needed tissues for the ending of it, and part of it really had a lot to do with the nostalgic value that this movie brought.
Oh yeah,
Honestly, the only thing that was missing
both
from
in the movie and outside the movie.
yeah.
I mean, it worked on both levels.
The only thing this movie was missing, in my opinion, was a Rick Moranis cameo.
Rick Moranis, I missed
That
it.
was
Yeah.
the only thing it was missing.
Spoiler alert: Rick
Sorry,
Moranis is
guys.
not in the film, but I guess he's just out. He's just not
out.
doing.
He's been out of the out ever since his wife passed away back in the 90s or so.
Yeah.
I know he's just not doing it.
He was more interested in.
We got a
radio.
Mint Mobile commercial with him.
Yeah.
No, you know what? More power to him. More power.
yeah.
To
No,
him.
that's cool. I respect that. I would have liked to have seen him in the film. I mean,
Yeah.
they could have gone and put him in front of a green screen and had him do something for 3 minutes. But whatever.
Like,
I
you
Just
know,
your taxes.
I do agree with Steve. I agree. I don't think this is a closing. It could be a closing chapter, but if you watch
Oh,
the movie
no.
all the way through, I
Oh,
don't
no.
think it is. I
No,
think
they
it's
are setting up a whole
lot
new
more.
series, maybe
Oh, yeah.
3 more films
Yeah.
on this thing. And since it did so well, I think it will be around Ernie Hudson's character with the new people, hopefully with the new
with
crowd.
hopefully continuing cameos from Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray.
Yeah, great.
And hopefully we
It's
get
got to
new
be hard to get Bill Murray, but maybe not. I don't know.
hopefully we get a new animated series too.
Right.
I think that's in the cards.
Yeah, because
Damon, you mentioned you mentioned another movie, which I'm not going to talk about now because I'll get them off this subject, and it's hard enough to corral the cats. But we will mention it here in just a minute.
Yeah.
Let me go through a few of these comments before we get too far afield, please.
Insinuating we're like hurting cats?
When we're doing roundtable stuff like this, oh boy.
I'll say this about the original animated series. Was what I loved about the original animated series was that the movies, according to the animated series, the movies were based off the animated series, even though
I like that.
Even though
I like that.
Even though it was because I remember my favorite line is they're in Hollywood, they're at the studio, and they're going over the actors list, and of course Arsenio Hall did Ernie Hudson's voice.
Yeah.
And he reads the names and he goes, who did they hire to play you guys? A law firm?
Aykroyd, Murray, and
Aykroyd and Hudson and Murray.
Aykroyd, Murray, Ramis, and Hudson. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's funny. Yeah, that's funny. Let me get some of these comments out here. Steve says, as much as I love the potential of the Carnage character and always have, again, it was used horribly in the Venom movie.
I wasn't watching it for Carnage. I was definitely watching it for Tom Hardy and Venom.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Sean.
Yeah.
Sean says I dislike both Venom films, but Hardy's as amazing as always.
Hardy.
I don't think if you have Tom Hardy I don't think that anyone would have cared about those Venom films at all.
My expectation was so low. All it had to be was passable for me. Like, I'm quite enjoying this. Like I was expecting it to be terrible, and the fact that it wasn't and it was funny was because that's all right then. I can understand why if you're like, like they can't all be Black Panther.
No.
Right.
You're right.
Damon says, I love the female Ghostbusters. I think the only people who hated it believe that women should still be out back hanging laundry and churning butter. Let me tell you something. I would have been I'm definitely not in that category. I would have been fine if the female Ghostbusters film was either written well or executed well. And I don't think it was either. I am the guy that would have given it a chance, but I just don't feel, like I said, it's a comedy that's not funny.
Another thing is,
not kind of funny.
Yeah, and the other thing is, and this is one of the reasons why I didn't go see it, is it wasn't because it was an all-female cast. It was because it had no ties to the original movies.
Yeah.
And I felt it needed to have a tie to the original movies instead of trying to rehash.
Could have done something similar to what we got. I mean, look, Ghostbusters Afterlife really makes the 2016 Ghostbusters film look bad in comparison, because again, it may be the best Ghostbuster film ever made.
And even then, back then when they were throwing around a 3 way back when, they were talking about, well, we'll have new characters and maybe it's a franchise, you know.
But they could have done what you're talking about with the 16 film. They could have said everything that happened back in the 80s happened, and we're getting the gang back together, and it just happens to all be women, but create new characters, and then have the other guys show up at the end to help, to participate.
Or just one.
I'll put this to you. Why, if they didn't want to?
Right, no, that's fine.
I mean, if they executed it well, you'd be like, oh, that's really good. They took a swing and a miss. I mean, the fact that it is a much bigger comedy than the original means that, like, the fact that it's not funny is a much bigger detriment to the fact that, like, the original, I mean, it's funny-ish, but it's not ha-ha funny, unlike the second one, which has more gags and stuff, and like the cartoon, which is a gag per minute. So, like, again, like, I mean, I get what you're saying. I think the original comment, like, I think that applies to cats who are like, who were just mad at the trailer and who were going to dislike it anyway. Like,
right.
I worked one of those motherfuckers, and they're the worst people, and so there's no point in talking to them for the bad language. But the fact that you gave it a try and you dislike it on its own merit is good, because, like, it isn't your bag. But, like,
I also think that
the reason for wanting it to be like, oh, it needs to tie back into the original, like what other series has done that where the applause have been like unanimous? Like, you know, Force Awakens is a retread.
I mean, I was just about to go there. I mean, if you look at the sequel, the Star Wars sequel stuff, that's a fail. I mean, they completely failed trying to integrate that thing. I have one example. I can think of one other than Ghostbusters where it worked, and that was Blade Runner 2049.
Yep.
Which was equally brilliant with the original.
I know someone would argue the toss you that it failed too.
Oh, I think it's one of the best films ever made.
I like it. It's a little something, but he would argue that it totally doesn't live up to the original and stuff, and it, you know, and like, you know, he really dislikes the Jared Leto character and stuff, and it's like, but it's like you let your man make whatever movie he wanted to make, and it turned out, you know, you dig it, I like it, you know, so like it's just I don't know what I'm making, but like if you don't let people, you can do fences, then
reboots, you know, and that's what the 2016 Ghostbusters is. The only problem with that is that it at the very beginning of it is derivative of the original deal. It's like if you were going to take the idea and put it someplace else, which, by the way, is exactly what they did in Ghostbusters Afterlife, it removes a lot of that derivative nature, which, you know, I mean, that's the obvious reason why to get it out of New York is so that you don't retread everything that happened in that first film.
Right.
But if you did set it in New York, you then would have to rebuild on all the... You basically... Well, here's like all good fan fiction. Here's a basic setup. We'll do that. And now Bella and Edward are bonking, and we'll call it 50 Shades of Grey and stuff. There is... I mean, I can see how... Yeah, especially since you two cats seem to be really nostalgically tied to Ghostbusters, which I'm not so much. I mean, I like the cartoon as a kid, and I like the movies, but it doesn't really have that kind of like I mean, I've seen the bits of Ramus in Afterlife, and like, oh, that's, but then again, like, so if the movie for me that was like, oh, got me all in the feels, like Terminator, Dark Fate, where like Arnold Schwarzenegger goes like, I won't be back. I swear to God, I almost bawled in front of my wife, which I haven't. Because like I've loved Arnold Schwarzenegger since I was knee high to a grasshopper. So like it's, you know.
I think Terminator Dark Fate is another example where they integrated the old stuff with the new stuff, and I feel like it was successful. But in that case, it was too little, too late. They had blown through that and had so many misfires in between the second Terminator film and Dark Fate that by that time no one cared, and everyone was mad about John Connor. Spoiler alert.
No, but also like that movie still made money in Russia. And that's like, from what I gather, the purpose of Terminator series, like, well, it still makes money in Russia, so that we'll keep make a couple dollars more.
It's money somewhere.
It's making money somewhere.
Right.
And seeing as there's only so many surefire hits in Hollywood, like, well, it makes money there.
Even
Scorpion
less
King.
now.
Scorpion King.
I saw that movie in the cinema. The sound system in that movie was dope. I seeing that at home, like, oh, that's really.
Well, I'm talking about the sequels, though.
Well, we never got released in the cinema, but like, you know, just like when you hear like the sound system punch you in the chest when The Rock does his thing, it's like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
But
let's get to a few more comments here, and then
the Scorpion King.
I mean, we're way off. Holy cats, we're way off. We're in Scorpion King territory.
Hurt him back into.
Sean says I couldn't finish the Ghostbusters 2016, and he doesn't ever not finish a movie.
That's saying something right there, Sean.
Yeah.
Different kicks with different chicks, isn't it?
Yeah. Steve said definitely not a closing chapter for the original cast of Ghostbusters. I agree. I mean, if you stayed for the after stuff, they're definitely setting up another round. And because it did so well, they're not going to just walk away from that.
I will guarantee you Dan Aykroyd will be back, so will Ernie Hudson. Bill Murray.
Ernie Hudson was given almost like redeemed by not just being the add-on. Now he's going to be the money guy. So
Now, seeing if we get Bill Murray back is a question. And
it's going to be tough to get Bill Murray in almost anything right now, I think.
He is in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Something like
I
that.
heard that. Yes, he's like the villain.
He's picking and choosing.
Bill
his roles
Murray is the
carefully.
villain in Guardians of the Galaxy. How did they land that? That's crazy.
I think though
Well, it's the
Ghostbusters
only-
will be the one that he would probably come back to.
Yeah.
McKenna Grace is brilliant in the
He
role.
doesn't seem to like retreading stuff, and like considering like the bad blood between him and Howard Ramis, like I can't imagine it's particularly great that like, oh, I fell out on my buddy and now I'm forced to retread this role that I've not had no investment in. It seems let the homie just bounce, man. He wants to do theater in front of a cello. Just it seems he's clearly not into it. Like Ben Affleck that clearly doesn't want to play Batman anymore. Just like
Right.
I get that we need to see it, but like also just at some point they've done enough to be like, well, we have the memories, just let him go.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm the same way with that.
Because like it's like unlike Dan Aykroyd, who clearly wants to do it, and Ernie Hudson, who's turned up because he seems like a Joe cat. Like there's a genuinely, I'm not enjoying this. So how is that fun for you cats to be like, oh, a guy I've grown up loving forever like doesn't love me anymore? Like
right.
Right. Like, well, like I'm clearly a commodity.
Yeah, let him go off and love Bill Murray and everything. Let him go off and do baseball documentaries. That thing he did with his brother for Facebook was phenomenal. So let him go off and watch baseball and do baseball documentaries and whatnot, and do some
That sounds
theater.
like a blast.
Yeah, so
They were saying that if they didn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger in any more Terminator movies, I would be on the same wavelength. He's like, no, bring him back.
Yeah.
Damon said that the two women from SNL, like I said, Kate McKinnon was brilliant in the Ghost. They should have just let her go. She could have had twice as much lines and attention as far as I was concerned.
It's a poorly
like the
edited
Ghostbusters.
movie as well. That's one thing to be pointed. I think the edits were they could have done that better.
Damask Katz says loved all of the women the all women cast of Ghostbusters. Haters gonna hate. Steve says that Beth is now required to use the term bonking in her next book.
Oops.
I got you, Steve. I got you.
Before we move on from this section, I got to go back for just a second to talk about Spider-Man: Far From Home. All last year, the last 2 years, ever since Endgame, there's a certain segment of the populace that I call fan holes.
Do the voice. You gotta do the voice.
Well,
Please do the voice. You got your voice.
I have to. I don't know. It just. I can't just do it. It has to come from my soul.
Oh, it'll come from your soul.
That crowd was saying over and every time a Marvel movie was released, and mind you, the last Spider-Man movie came out, and Shang-Chi, and the Eternals, and everything on television. I mean, even that stuff. The same refrain was, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is over. It's done. We had the greatest epic that concluded with Endgame, and now it's over. It's completely, the MCU is out. No. To those people, I give you Spider-Man: Far From Home. What do you have to say now? Where are the fan holes who have proclaimed that the MCU is dead? We've got, in the middle of COVID, in the middle of big films bombing one right after another. The Moonfall thing this last weekend made $10 million.
Oh, that came out this past weekend?
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll do the what is his name? KB Lame?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Yes, it came out and no one cared. In the middle of all of that, and the fact that no one is going to movies right now, Far From Home has beat Avatar in domestic box office results.
I think it's fantastic.
and has gone past the $1.5 billion mark. What do you have to say now? I mean, you may not like what the MCU is producing, but I mean, look at the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Stop proclaiming the MCU is dead until it's dead.
Until it's actually dead.
They could actually kill it. It could happen. I mean, I don't think that you can do this forever.
I mean,
they will make missteps, but that hadn't happened yet.
Even the bad them talking about the Eternals, which that's the one Marvel movie I haven't seen in the theater.
I haven't seen that either.
Watch that one or
I mean, it's on Disney right now. I could watch it, but
I enjoyed that movie.
Okay, yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Watch
I mean, it's
I'll
not.
Give it a shot.
It's not a super spec. You know what, Dirk? It's your kind of movie.
I bet it is
it's
because
your kind
I
of
like
movie.
I bet it is because of who directed it. I suspect that it's a little bit more of a thinky.
It's
movie.
more of a thinky movie, and
I'll probably like it. I suspect that's the case.
I will say this. I'll give this one spoiler.
And I know that I know that they went to all these locations around the world.
I'll give this one spoiler. First Marvel love scene in a theatrical movie.
Oh, I like that.
I heard that on the old Twitter.
Like true love scene, not that Iron Man. Hey, let's have a one night stand thing.
Let's get it on, and then they show them putting their shirt on after the
movies.
Yeah. This is an actual love scene.
I like that.
Like the two people are into each other. So
took them long enough. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah. So
did you notice that in Endgame, like Gwyneth Paltrow didn't kiss Robert Downey Jr. at all?
I noticed that too.
I was like,
you guys do know that they really didn't like each other, right?
Do they hate each other?
Yeah.
Well, then why are they back?
Because they actually had really good chemistry on screen, and it was actually RDJ that kept saying no, bring Gwyneth back. And honestly, they didn't need the kiss or anything with those two.
I thought it was a little strange because I felt like they should have kissed.
Tom Holland were all up in each other's grill. Marry to Paltrow. Don't make out with the boy editor. I mean, I liked Endgame, but it's one of those things that the fact they kept taking off their masks every time the camera. I know who's behind that. You don't need to keep
that drives me nuts too. I hate that too.
Just make out Gwyneth Paltrow for fuck's sake. It's you can only play for so long. Not rock, you can kiss on screen. We know you can.
That's funny.
Damon says the MCU still has X-Men and Fantastic Four to come, along with the new Avengers. Also, tons of solo film that can come for that. So the MCU is far from over.
Far from over.
We got Kang coming, folks. I'm very excited about that, and at some point we're going to get Doctor Doom.
And you know what? I'm so looking forward to Doctor Doom.
Oh my God!
I want a proper Doctor Doom.
Oh, I want to see Doctor Doom done right so bad.
I'm kind of excited over the fact. Sorry, go ahead, Marcus.
I don't care about the Fantastic Four at all. Apart from the goofy movies in the mid 2000s, there's nothing they've done. I thought, well, that was worth my time.
I suspect though that
I literally don't like.
Marvel will nail it.
Terrible. The comics are terrible. I just couldn't be bothered with them.
If you do it,
I'm excited for, but Fantastic Four, I can be. Apart from having Chris Evans in,
Can we get Chris Evans back as Johnny Storm?
I would take that. I would take that all day long.
Sean mentioned that he should show up as Johnny Storm in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, that
I thought that was pretty good.
I've heard rumors. I've heard that people on the internet have been saying that he should show up as Johnny Storm in that movie. Which I wouldn't put it past him.
Anything goes now, folks.
I wouldn't put it past him. Captain America's uniform and go flame on.
Oh, that would be even funnier.
That would be good.
Yeah. But Damon's right, absolutely. Shell says Fantastic Four is always bomb. If you do, look, I'm not a big fan of them either, but if you do the Fantastic Four kind of like the Venture Brothers, then you can do something I think really special with that thing. But you got to nail all of the other versions have tried to solve the kind of goofiness of the Fantastic Four, and if you solve it, then it's no longer the Fantastic Four.
You can't.
Yeah.
So if you lean into it
Yeah.
and really do it, I think that it will find its audience. I think
I
it'll
mean,
find its audience.
it would be interesting if they take it to the point where they do the Future Foundation. And I would love to see Spider-Man in that Future Foundation
Right.
outfit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Just-
Sean says they already made the perfect Fantastic Four movie. It's called The Incredibles.
And that's
Touche,
sucked.
man. Touche.
The problem with the Fantastic Four is that everything was built on top of it. Like the Ghost in the Shell movie they made with Scarlett Johansson. Like, why? We had the 95 anime movie, and then we had The Matrix. Everything was built on top of it.
Right.
Right.
Four, and then we had X-Men. Everything's built on top of it. So all you're going to do is it's like going, oh, I've got a cake. Let's eat flour. It's not.
That's kind of some of the problems that you have with doing Buck Rogers or Flash Gordon. It's because we've been doing kind of the next iterations of those ever since.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to go. You have to kind of go nostalgic with it, and I don't know how modern audiences are going to take that sort of thing. Does anyone want to talk about any of the before we get out of this? Does anyone want to talk about any of the television series that have happened in the last couple of months? Just basically
Hawkeye.
quickly.
Hawkeye episode 2 has the best credits song ever.
Oh, yeah.
I love Depeche Mode, and I didn't realize that was there. It's like I've been listening to it non-stop.
What?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
What was it?
Christmas
Okay,
Island.
episode 2.
Christmas Island by Depeche Mode. I freaked out when they played
In
that
what?
song.
In what?
Episode 2 of Hawkeye.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
It was the end song. I
Yes,
freaked
right.
out.
So dope.
I've been seeing Depeche Mode. Depeche
I
Mode
agree
is
with you on
showing
that
up
one,
in
Marcus.
banking ads and all kinds of stuff,
yeah.
and it's all kind of a different version of it, which is it's crazy for someone who grew up,
Yeah.
with Depeche Mode, which was very
Oh,
much
Marcus.
like a big
Yeah.
fetish community thing. I mean, their Depeche Mode is very naughty,
I freaked
to
out
hear
when they
them-
played that song.
to hear them in Hawkeye or I said, like banking commercials, it's really
They were a
bizarre to me,
newspaper.
but I do love them. So
Maybe
it's
I grew up with them over here. I don't really. They're like air. They're just here, kind of like soft cell. I realized that at some point they were risque and stuff. But but if you be around long enough, like John Waters,
Right.
just any kink has been taken off, and you're just you're just there. So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If my mom is still watching, Mom, if you Depeche Mode because your favorite song by Depeche Mode was "People Are People." So
Yeah. It's a dope track.
Damon says that he always thought Peter Parker's kind of dorky, so he liked Miles Morales, and he's surprised that we still haven't seen Miles Morales. I wouldn't put.
yeah,
Look, they in the Spider-Man film. Who was the guy who played Lando Calrissian?
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. Thank you.
Yeah.
Marcus with the win. He was related to Miles Morales, so he's in the universe. They kind of peripherally mentioned him,
Yeah.
so he's out there, and they know he's coming. I promise, Miles Morales is coming in the live
He's
action
coming,
stuff.
and so is
They're dying to get Miles Morales out there. I promise you.
and
He's
so
one
is
of the
Ghost
most-
Spider.
Yeah, he-
Gwen Stacy. They're wanting to get her out there too.
Yeah, they
And-
just announced the.
Well-known ones.
Yeah.
They just
and-
announced the girl from 50 Shades is going to be doing Scarlet Spider or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Tom
Everything-
Holland even mentioned. Tom Holland said, after the next 3 Spider-Man movies, he's ready to
Maxine
move
says so.
on, and he said he's looking forward to seeing the different Spider characters, and he mentioned.
They could hand that
Gwen
off
Stacy.
anytime they want.
Oh yeah.
That's the
Well,
great thing
and with
about
Tom
Spider-Man.
Holland, with Tom Holland
Yeah.
getting involved in the Uncharted movies as well,
Yeah.
that's a whole new franchise.
I'm looking
for
forward
him.
to that.
Yeah.
I mean, we could get Ben Riley.
Soundtrack. So I was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Damon also says that he loves Depeche Mode.
I mean,
Yeah,
we could get.
I would put Depeche Mode in everything. Also, if I had any,
I have my list. I have my list.
Any pull in Hollywood, I would have them.
I have my soundtrack list for if my movie were to be made. I have my list of groups that would be in my soundtrack, and Depeche Mode is one of those groups.
For sure. All right.
It's shown up in a few of my writing playlists. So
Holy cats! I'm getting us out of this, folks. We're going on to the next segment. It's on Blast, where we talk about some stuff. Madam Web, thank you, Sean.
Madam Web.
I don't know. I'm going to be making up Spider-Man characters, and Sony's going to be copywriting them because they're going to do every damn Spider-Man movie possible.
Superior Spider-Man.
Aunt May, Uncle Ben.
Peter Parker's parents who secretly spies.
Yes.
For S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's got to be 6 movies and a television series.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
The Clone Wars are going to take up a hell of a lot of time, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what?
God.
That could be a streaming TV show.
Sony has been jonesing for the Sinister Six for 20 damn years.
Yeah.
They've wanted that so bad. It's on now.
It's
Believe
coming.
me, anything that has ever been in a Spider-Man comic is going to be a movie, a television show, or an animated series. I promise you.
It's coming.
I mean, if it's only half as good as Into the Spider-Verse, it'd be worth it.
I mean,
Half
some
as
of
good
the
as Perfection
things.
is still pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. All right, we're deep into we're not so deep into On Blast. On Blast is where we talk about just stuff that we've seen lately. We have 2 months to catch up. Let's not do 2 months worth of stuff. Just pick,
I'll just list it all out. So.
The greatest. Oh my Lord.
Typically, I'll take a while.
I either go to Scott or Walt first. So, Walt, you're up.
So I've been watching a lot of Tubi on the weekends, and if you haven't, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you'll know that I've been watching every Ultraman series from 66. I'm up to 2017 right now because there's a whole bunch of them. It's in there. It's fun stuff, y'all. It's fun stuff. I will say that Ultra 7 is the most violent of the Ultraman. He don't play. He don't play.
Sean has all of those on disc.
I would say watch Ultra 7. If you want to see a really bloody Ultraman kids show, Ultra 7's the one you need to watch.
All right. Okay.
Other than that, really not much going on because, like I said, just started a job.
You have a 16-hour commute.
I have a 16-hour commute. Yeah. It's an hour there, and then the commute home, it could be an hour to an hour and a half because everybody's going home at that time.
Yeah,
so,
and I mean Dallas traffic. Good Lord, man, I feel for you.
It's about an 80-mile round trip. So
yep, I hear.
So
you.
there's not much other than that. Got a few new action figures which I've failed to put on the desk right here, but got the snake eyes. Yeah, the snake eyes with the wolf, with Timber.
Yep.
That's about it.
All right. Beth, on Blast, what have you been watching or reading or whatever? What do you got?
Reading and watching has been pretty much limited right now to Deadliest Catch and a few
Really?
that,
All right. That was a surprise.
Guilty pleasure.
Oh, that's cool. Listen, I get it.
I gotta listen to something while I'm working, and I work from home, and I found Deadliest Catch Bloodlines, which was about Phil Harris's son Josh fishing in Hawaii, and I totally loved that series. The 2 seasons of that series that was on, because where they're fishing was places I had been to, and I was like, all right, what? I'm going to go back and watch the original show, because I've been watching it every time I go out to Virginia, to help my sister with Mom. I've been watching it with my sister, so I was intrigued. Yeah, guilty pleasure. That is what gets me through the day at work. On the weekends, I have been reading this.
Oh,
Dun, dun, dun.
What is that?
Doom, doom, doom.
Dune. This is the DM's handbook.
Oh, really?
Role-playing game, yeah.
Very interesting.
people-
I didn't know that they had a Dune role-playing game.
I've had people begging me to run a game.
Okay.
I started reading the Doctor Who one, and it's for a beginner dungeon master. The Doctor Who one is a little more advanced than what I was looking for.
Okay.
I started reading this one, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I can do this. I can. Yes, please let me go play with spice in the world of Dune. That's fun. So
It would be so easy to write episodes or whatever
know,
modules
right?
for Dune. There's so much there to play with.
There's just way too much to play with, especially since I've
that's
read
good
a lot
stuff.
of the books. I picked this up today just because I was looking for something else.
Oh,
new.
that game is a blast.
Yeah, this is the card game
Yes.
one. Yeah.
Yep,
So
that
I picked
is-
that one up today.
I played that with Scott one time and really enjoyed it. I got to play the Beast Raban.
Oh, nice. And the other thing I picked up for myself today for my collection, which I'm going to have to completely rearrange my collection because my cat will not stay off my bookcases, and I have various Bucky's and Steve Pops laying on the floor at the moment.
Right?
Yeah. But this is my new one.
Oh,
Alice
Alice
Cooper.
Cooper. That's cool.
Is that in the straight jacket?
Yes.
I
Yep.
just saw a picture of Alice Cooper. Someone took a picture with Alice Cooper. I don't remember who it was.
Anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge Alice Cooper fan, and my best friend works for a music promoter whose best friend happens to be Alice Cooper.
Cooper. Gonna get that sign, huh?
No, I'm not going to hold it out for next trip as much as I would like to.
Steve wants a North Texas game night.
Man, Steve, if you're in on the Dune, man, I will make sure you are invited. You are more than welcome to come play at my table.
He wants in.
Yeah, he wants in. I got you, Shank. I got you. Which
That Dune Imperium is a lot of fun.
Speaking of Alice Cooper and Phoenix and my best friend, next week I am taking off to Phoenix for a week to do. Let me see if I can get this to work here, Dirk. Share screen. Yes, I know it's easiest with two monitors.
Are you sharing a screen?
Yes.
Oh, there
Okay,
it is.
there it is.
All right.
February 19th, I will be in San Diego. First time in California.
Uh-oh.
For the author's Love
You've
and
never been to
Devotion.
San Diego?
Nope, first time in California.
Ooh, San Diego is
so
nice.
I'm kind of doing this the fun way. I'm going
It's
to
a good
Phoenix
time of year to
first.
go.
Yeah, I'm going to Phoenix first, picking up my best friend who's the co-author on one of my books. We are road tripping it to San Diego. We're going to do this, and then we're going to meet up with her twin 19-year-old sons and go to Disneyland. So the next time, not next week, but the week
Wow.
after, when
You're
I come
doing it
back,
right.
I will show off the nice shiny new lightsaber I'm going to build.
Very cool. So
Yeah.
when are you
know-
leaving? Let's see. You're leaving
The 16th.
almost exactly a week from now.
Yep, almost exactly a week. And this is a true vacation for me, actually. I haven't had a real, true, honest-to-God vacation in a while, and I haven't seen my
So-
best friend in 12 years.
I can't
it's about
read
time.
the authors on there. Is there anyone that like really sticks out?
Beth A. Freely.
That would be this one. Right
You're right at the top there.
there, but they really can't miss me.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
What are you going to be doing there?
It's an author book event.
So you're going to be meeting
selling
with
books
fans and stuff?
Yep, meeting fans and
Do you
everything.
have all of your books that you're going to take up there? And,
Yes, I do. You want to see it? You know you want to see it.
Yeah, let's,
You know you want to see it, Dirk.
yeah.
You know
Let's
you want
see
to
it.
see it.
There you go.
This is the newest one, guys. This is what has kept me from pretty much watching and
From watching TV.
consuming a lot of stuff the last few months. This book is a 15-year endeavor. And I finally got it to where I wanted it. Dirk has actually read part of this.
Yep.
And so far, the reviews coming in are really good.
That's excellent.
Great.
And it's a thick one,
It is.
500 pages. And it is sci-fi romance. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud of this one. And I got the email right before we got on the show that I will get my box of paperbacks for the event. They're supposed to be here tomorrow.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah. So that's what I got.
Congratulations, Beth.
Thank you.
I still want to do an interview with you about your book.
And we
do the
will.
whole long thing,
Yeah, we will. Just let me know when you want to do it.
the whole routine. And congratulations on that. Where do they go to get that?
You can go to my website, which is bethanneanefreely.com, or you can go to amazon.com and just look up Beth A. Freely.
I bought it.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Did you buy the paperback or did you buy the ebook?
I bought the ebook.
You bought the ebook, okay.
Yep.
Oh,
sure
and
did.
it's about a third way.
And I have the book, by the way. She sent me the book, but I bought it also.
Um,
Because look, when you do reviews, and I will review the book. When you do reviews, if you buy the book, Amazon will,
it's a verified review.
they put more weight behind someone who bought the book and then reviews it. So I thought that it was only appropriate that I buy the book.
I have two coworkers that bought the book, and one of them, she's real big into sci-fi and real big into fantasy novels and everything, and she can't put it down.
Ben, hey Ben, I didn't know that you were watching us. Hello to Ben. Ben's been producing some really cool artwork, by the way. If you want to go over there and check out
I've
his
seen
stuff.
some of that.
Yeah, I have to.
Maybe it's time to get him back on again. Check on how Ben's doing.
Yeah.
Was it that Centurions that he colored?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been
So-
I failed to mention that I've been watching that old cartoon too. So
Anyway, anyway, to Beth, Ben says congrats,
Thank you, Ben.
and Shell says we like it thick, Beth.
Yes, we
Whoa.
do, girl.
Whoa. What was that?
So good night. Good night to everyone out there. Thank you for tuning in to Test.
Hey, this is what you get for having, a romance author as part of your crew, all right? I mean,
That's true.
seriously.
Not just a romance novel, a sci-fi.
We
I'm
will.
a romance author, yes.
Are you? You're going to be gone next week, right?
Next Wednesday? Let me look. Yeah, I leave next Wednesday.
You
So
leave
I'll
next
be here
Wednesday.
for next Tuesday night.
Oh, you are here for the. Okay.
I am here for next Tuesday night.
All right. Well, I mean, we need to do kind of a proper rollout of the book at some point.
If you want to do it next Tuesday night, that'd be awesome, because then I can also use it for marketing for the...
You're not going to be staying up late packing bags?
No, actually, I'm beauty of flying out on Southwest is being able to check 2 bags. So sometime this weekend, I'm actually going to get my check bag pulled together with all of the things that I need for my author table, as well as getting the carry-on pulled together with all the books.
Well, if it would help you with promotion, then let's do it. You'll be our guest next week.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right. We'll go over the book. We'll do the same thing.
And yes, Ben, it is a girthy book.
Ben says it's girthy.
It's girthy.
All right, we're going to Marcus. Tell it. Do you have anything that you've been watching or reading or playing lately, like video games or something?
There's a video game called Sable, which is basically a Mobius. The French artist like Mobius, but made in a video game, which is like kind of long, kind of open world kind of beauty, and I don't play much video games, but I really dig that.
You say Mobius? Are you talking about the artist?
Mobius. Yeah, I am. Yeah.
It's called Sable.
Sable. Yeah.
I don't even know what that is, but I am a huge fan of Mobius. So I will have to look into that.
Yeah, it's on Steam. I guess most things are, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
In terms of I'm reading a lot of comics, but I recently just finished the run of Thunderbolts from issue 79 to 81, which had the guy did Lone Wolf and Cub 2000 drawing it, which I adored as my favorites.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, his fight sequences are really good, and it's because if you look at the old style of it, the book is not really my bag. So the fact they just took it in a completely different way, it's I read it when I was young. Is it any good as a molder?
Cool.
It's quite good. Been reading this, which
Really?
I really dig.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Scott would love you for that.
because Scott has excellent taste.
Scott is a big Savage Dragon fan.
I'm a Savage Dragon fan too.
Okay, all right.
I've only just started getting into it and stuff, and there's a lot of Savage Dragon to get into, and it's like, but I just recently, and like the way Eric Larson sets up panel pages, like with you have like one long tier and then 4 panels. That's basically the approach I'm taking with burnt ends and stuff.
Cool.
My mate does this book, Merrick the Sensational Elephant Man.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, everyone should pick up.
That looks cool.
It's very cool.
That was a good name drop there.
And also read this really cool book called Cheer Up, Love and Pom Poms, which is a cheerleading book about a trans chick basically being the head of a cheerleading squad. It's really nice little slice of life thing that was really good. And
cool.
One graphic novel that I picked up recently that I think is proper important, and not to be an SJW, but it's called Illegal, and it's basically about like an immigrant, like a refugee going from I think it's Somali, trying to get to Dover and stuff. And it's like a really kind of important book, because if you read it and then the whole thing of they're coming over here is like, well, then they're fleeing, and to get here is arduous to say the very least. So maybe stop being a prick and let them in. Maybe not having crossed dangerous channels via drug smugglers, and open up the borders so they can come to a safe place, a place that is dangerous because we made it dangerous. Again, not to be like all kind of preachy and stuff, but I think Illegal as a graphic novel is important, and everyone should read it. And maybe be a better group of people. And on less serious notes, I've been reading my daughter Terry Pratchett, and I recommend
really?
that.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've just read the Tiffany Aiken series, Hogfather, and now I'm on Soul Music.
Very cool. Wow, Terry Pratchett.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Marcus, I don't know if you all have access to the Peacock streaming service.
I do.
You do? Savage Dragon is on there. The animated series, the 2 seasons of Savage Dragon.
I forgot about that.
That was done back in the 90s. That animated series is on there. So
I'll check. I've got it via the Sky app, so I'm not sure of exactly the same thing. Speaking of Peacock, Rutherford Falls, that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that.
That's on my list to watch.
That's very funny.
That's on my. Oh, and speaking of, I forgot to mention one other show that I watched, that I started watching on Netflix, and that's I think it's called Murderville. Yeah, Murderville. Yeah. I highly recommend it. It's a comedy. It's a, what do you call it? A cop procedural, but it's a comedy. There's no script.
I recommend the original.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and there's a celebrity guest detective that comes on.
What's the name of it?
Murderville.
Okay.
And so far, my favorite episode has been.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I've only watched the first 3 episodes, and so far I've enjoyed the second episode. Even though the celebrity, I'm not going to even give out. I'm not going to give them.
What is that on? Is that on
Netflix.
Paramount? Okay,
Netflix. It's the second episode is Marshawn Lynch, and he's just straight up, Marshawn Lynch. I'll just give it that. And the first 3 episodes I was just cracking up to the whole thing because, like I said, there's no script.
Ben says I just gave you a follow, Marcus. I love Westerns.
Cool. I hope you dig mine. I hope it lives up to your high expectations. And if it doesn't, well, don't tell me, because I'm very fragile.
My on blast.
The thing Wilt was talking about earlier. It's based on a UK show called Success in Murder and Successville, and that is fun as hell.
I'm gonna look that one up too.
Really?
Yeah,
that's another. I'm writing that one down.
And the guy did that. Tom Davis did a new show called The Curse, which is pretty funny. That's on Channel 4.
All right.
called The Curse.
Very cool. My on blast is Reacher. Binge watched that over the weekend. Oh my God, that show is good. It is really good. Now, I have not read the books. I watched the 2 previous Tom Cruise films, and every time anyone talks about Tom Cruise playing Reacher, they go, he's way too short to be playing Reacher.
Yes.
So I
He's
don't
too
have...
short for the stat as well, but
Right.
always going to play roles.
The guy who is playing Reacher this time is definitely not short. He is a big guy. He's big. He's muscular and he's tall. I knew him from I'm not going to be able to come up with a series. I watched him in a series where he was on a college football team and he played the quarterback. It was a comedy. Reacher is not a comedy, but he does land his comedic zingers because he is good with comedy. But his effortless manner that he plays this character is very convincing. I mean, he really owns this role in a way that, he's going to, in comparison, no one's going to be able to beat this guy. He's really good. In addition to that, according to what Sean said, it pretty much stayed true to the books, and it is a very complicated, interesting, thriller plot that goes along with this thing. Also, the characters are great. One thing I told Sean is that was so amazing about it is that Reacher is basically like Sherlock Holmes in a Conan the Barbarian body. He's very smart, but everyone else in this show is also smart. It's like they don't make everyone else dumb to make him look smarter. Like the sheriff's deputy that he hangs out with, she's smart. The head of investigations in this town, he's super smart. The villains are smart. The guy who runs the corporation is very smart. His son is smart. He's terrible dude, but he's super smart. Even the bad guys in this thing they're not beating the bad guys. They're not beating the bad guys because they're stupid. They're beating the bad guys because they're just a little bit smarter and more tenacious than the bad guys. And that makes for a really good series because, it's just everyone, it's just the whole thing is very smart. And man, the action scenes are great. The comedy is right there. And they even did a really good job with kind of some of the little pieces that they dropped earlier in the series, the character development and of not just Reacher but other characters as well.
There's another
Reacher,
TV show you know him from.
Reacher is an excellent series. Sean is telling me it's Blue Mountain State. That's the series that I was talking
You know him
about.
from another series though, Dirk.
Do you want
What
me
is
to
that?
say it? Do you want me to say it, Beth? Do you want me to say it?
Say it. Well, say it.
Go ahead.
He's Titans. He was a Hawk.
I heard that. I have not seen Titans. I was wondering who he played.
watched that.
Are you? No, I have not. Is it like Hawk and Dove?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
he's Hawk and Hawk and Dove.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was asking Sean because I'd heard that he was in Titans, but I hadn't seen Titans, so I had no idea who he
I
played
thought
in
you
that.
saw that.
You know what?
God.
It's not a bad show.
No, it was a good show. I was enjoying it.
Well, his name is Alan something or other. I want to say Alan Rickman. Not Rickman. Not Alan Rickman. His name is Alan something.
Alan Richson.
Anyway, this guy's watch out with this guy because not only is he going to be successful as Reacher, he's going to blow up after this.
This is going to be his breakout show.
They've already
Sean said he
renewed
would
it.
be a great Flash Gordon, and oh my God,
Oh God, yes.
I would love
Oh
to
God,
see
yeah.
that guy as Flash Gordon.
I'm in.
But he's going to be on the top of everyone's list. He's really good in this series.
They have already renewed it for a second season.
I don't question that because if you go to Amazon right now, they list it as the #1 show, and
Yeah.
it's been the #1 show for a few days. And I mean, like I told Sean, they knew what they had before they started this because they started rolling him out in Parade Magazine and on all of the different talk shows and stuff. They knew.
They wrote him out of Titans.
And they didn't right. And they didn't piece out these episodes. They let you binge watch the whole thing because they knew they had a phenomenon on their hands.
It's definitely well worth watching if you haven't watched it yet.
So it's Reacher, folks.
I'll say this, since it's #1 on Amazon, we will be seeing him reprise his role in Titans for a few episodes. I got a feeling that's going to happen.
They're going to call him back?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We were wondering how long it would take for them to get to the second season. Beth, are you saying they've already announced the second season?
I read somewhere today that they had already announced that they had already renewed it for a second
They've
season.
got like 24 books to do. This first season was one book, so if they make it to 24 seasons, then good on them. All right, it's promo time. We're almost to the end, folks. I can't. It's been 46 hours. It's like a telethon.
Call now. We need the money.
We need money. Support the local
we're gonna go with our guest first. Marcus, tell us where to find you.
Find us on Twitter at Twitter NJX07. Thank you, because I can't remember my Twitter handle. Patreon, Ko-fi, Markus Pattern, Marcus with K. I'm on Etsy. Etsy, thank you, and I'm also on Gumroad. So if you just
Gumroad, I didn't get that one.
Did I not send you a link? How remiss of me.
Might have been my bad.
Yeah, basically, if you just if you can't find me on those various platforms, if you just go to my Twitter, you can
find him everywhere from Twitter.
Yeah, and if you can't find me anywhere like that, just marcuspatternjaws@gmail.com. That's my email address.
There you go.
And also, if you're like, oh shit, man, that guy's a really cool artist, I need him to draw me something.
Yeah.
My commissions are also open.
Awesome.
Or if you want me to draw you a comic, I'm also available for that too.
There you go.
I will ditch 13 shots of whiskey if you pay me to draw your comic.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
what if we don't want you to ditch that? We'll just pay you to keep drawing 13 shots of whiskey.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as I can justify it to my wife after June, just when my savings will be taken up.
Absolutely.
Well, I got you on the follow there.
All right, Beth, you're up. Give us all the deets.
You can find me at BethAnnFreely.com if you're looking for editing work. You can find me at themusesfunhouse.com. You can also find me at Twitter at BAFreely, Instagram at BAFreely. My Patreon is Beth Ann Freely. And if you missed all of that, just look for me. Just look for BA Freely on Linktree, and you'll find all of my credentials and everything else. Oh, and I've added a new thing, book trailers. Somehow I've started making book trailers. So
hell yeah, why not?
Yeah, if I've already, I actually had
already have a client.
Me to do 3. Yeah, 3 for already. Yeah, she asked me to do 2 more. So
you're tearing it up.
Book editing, book trailers, or web design work, hit me up at themusesfunhouse.com.
And we'll be appearing at Disneyland soon.
Yeah.
All right, Walter, you're up.
All right, you can find me on Facebook at my What Walter Cons, What Studio Art Blogspot. You can catch me on Twitch every once in a while at Gatchaman_1, and you can buy some of my stuff at my Zazzle store if you just look under What Studio Art, and there's underscores in between those. Oh, and there's one of my products right there, the Robo Girls cup.
Yeah.
That
are you on YouTube?
Let's put that front and center.
I'm sometimes on YouTube, not very often.
There it is. There's the good stuff there.
As far as YouTube, I periodically just post my my Gran Turismo game replays.
Okay. I think I misheard. I think I misheard what you said. So, but I'm sorry. I not to
That's fine. I'm not gonna hold that against you.
Steve says, side note, Walt wins the apparel award with the Robotech hoodie this evening. Let's put that up. You can model that for us.
Oh wait, hang on. Let me zip it up so you can get the full effect.
Oh
here.
wow. Okay. All right.
Oh,
there we go.
There you go. Yep. Oh, that is slick. That is very cool.
You put that. If you put the hood up, you've got the whole.
And it's wow. Oh wow. That's cool in that it doesn't just have like a Robotech logo across your chest.
Right.
It's very subtle. and it's stylish.
And I got
I think Steve is correct on that.
I got this when it first came out, and I got it for like $80 something or so. Now, if you want this, you're going to pay over $100.
Oh my God! I imagine everything is ridiculous.
So I should have gotten the red and white one and the
someone's
blue and white
upset.
One. So
she doesn't want to be corralled, but of course, she needs to be part of the group. Peanut butter
Ben
has
says, Ben says, nice, Walt.
Oh yeah, thank you very much.
And then Steve says, does that make you a Walkery? And Damon says, pretty cool. So you got big ups on your jacket there.
I had to put on the jacket because, I don't know if the dog's on the couch yet. There she is back there. You can see her laying down.
No.
I had to.
I don't think I see her. Hang on.
Yeah, there she is.
I see her. She's all curled up.
Yeah. When I went off, when I had to turn the camera off for a moment, she was like, I need to go. I need to go. I was like, but you just went outside. So,
hey, when you got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go.
She didn't realize that the door has been open the whole time. So I had to put on the jacket. So, and it's like, see, the door is open. You could have gone out.
In Texas, it's amazing that you have energy. You have any electricity at all, frankly. I mean,
I need to ask Marcus. Did you hear about that happened here last year here in Texas? Yeah,
that was some gnarly noise, man. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah. I was without electricity for 46 hours.
we had that over here as well. My in-laws were without electricity for like a fortnight because our gas electricity company couldn't be bothered to send up a couple of generators. It's, again, not to put my socialist hat on, but that's what happens when you let pirates deregulate an entire system so they can make some money and then scamper off. Again,
we kind of know something about that, don't we?
We just kind of like, here they just decided we're just going to cut ourselves off from the rest of the country. So if something happens, they can't help us.
There's no backup.
I mean,
off the grid.
Yeah.
Maybe if you didn't have a ghoul like Ted Cruz in charge of stuff over there, it might.
Well, technically he's not in charge, but Abbott, the fact that I don't even want to get into it. I
mean, here's a point. Why do I, a cat from London, know who the hell Ted Cruz is?
That's a good question.
Right.
Why do I know who Bill Manchin is? I should not know who your people are. Right. They're yours. Name one of my MPs. Name one of my politicians.
I will say this. They do show Parliament here whenever I can catch it.
I have watched that too. That is amazing.
Compared to watching Congress, I will watch Parliament. If they were to put that on 24 hours a day here, I would set my DVR to record it.
It is good. It is fascinating television.
Laughing at our embarrassment.
I mean, it's entertaining compared to what we have here. It's entertainment. It's very entertaining.
Steve wants you to stop saying Ted Cruz.
Let me put it to you this way, Marcus. Right now, everything that's going on with Randy Andy is more entertaining and enjoyable to follow than the crap going on here.
Yeah.
Randy Andy.
Prince Andrew.
Oh my God!
I was in England from 1979 to 1981, and trust me, his nickname back then was most definitely Randy Andy.
The other thing, I never saw a picture of him until he went on that news night. Like, oh, can you not talk like a normal human being? Like, who thought that was a good idea? I mean, who thinks the royal family is a good idea to begin with? Terrible human beings.
He's the worst of the lot. Definitely the worst of the lot.
We have covered everything tonight, folks.
Not to be all kind of Bastiling it, but I'd turf them all out. Fucking makes us subjects as opposed to citizens of a country. Again, not to put on these many tinfoil hats, but
no, it's fine.
I have friends that live over there that say the same thing. So you're not saying anything I haven't already heard.
Right.
Because what I'm saying is sensible. There's no reason to keep these people around.
Damon says that's not what Ted Cruz can do for you. but what you can do for Ted Cruz.
Oh dear Lord.
Give him oxygen by talking about him. It's my fault. I shouldn't have brought him up.
You can see all of my links down below.
That was a great segue.
I'm the master of blends. Masterful. I got contacted today to do an illustration for a woman who is writing for a tequila brand, and my stuff will run alongside Dita Von Teese.
Nice.
So I'm very excited to announce that. I've also been contacted on some other very interesting projects lately, so things are heating up. I do art. I do commissions as well. So if you're interested, you can check me out at all of those things below.
Which tequila brand?
I don't want to say yet because it's not like completely in the bag, but I owe this illustration over the next week, so it won't take long to find out. I hate to mention stuff specifically before it happens because I've done so many things that don't come true, and then you have to explain to everyone why it didn't come through and why it was such a damn disappointment.
Yeah.
And so I will say that I'm very excited about this thing, and that once I can really announce it, that I will say more.
I work on an off license, so like when it comes out over here, I'll just sell it. I won't sell any other tequila.
Awesome. I did a thing for a Japanese toy company. They still haven't produced it yet. So they paid me. It's done.
Oh, hey, wait. Toy company.
Yeah, it's toys for adults. It's toys for adults. That's why I don't. On this show, I don't specifically mention what that was. But anyway, does anyone have anything that they want to add?
Toys you
before
need when you read this.
That's right.
Right.
There you go.
No, it's just great to be back.
Well said.
Yeah.
It's great to be back. You're welcome. And this is like the second night I've stayed up past 8 o'clock.
None of us can talk because poor Marcus is well into the night here in London.
Morning.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's in the future. He's 6 hours into the future.
Marcus, thanks for sticking with us all of this time. We do deeply appreciate it.
I had a gas. Thank you.
That's awesome. I really appreciate you sticking around with us because you were great on here. So let me also say that the next thing that you do, or if you just got to talk to us or something, get in touch with us. We'll have you on here again.
We'll do.
You're welcome back anytime. And all of your comic book friends, please send them our way. We want guests on this thing. It's, I don't really want to run shows without guests. So send guests our way, please.
Yeah, no, I'll pimp you out to all my mates.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, please.
Pimp us out.
Yeah. And vice versa. Pimp them out too.
That's right.
Pimp them out to us. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm getting it off of here. Jesse, who I didn't even know was watching. Good show, ladies and gentlemen. Nice meeting Marcus. See you in the next show. Marcus is with K.
Hi, Dad.
He said that several times. Make sure that we get that right. And Maxine says, yes, it is. Shell says, fantastic show. Thank you, everyone. And Steve says, welcome back, team. So glad you're all back. Thank you, Marcus. Looking forward to supporting your efforts. Steve is probably our most prolific supporter. So when he says that, he means it. And thanks to him. Thanks also for Sean, who chimed in several times.
And I've lost count how many times Steve has put somebody's Kickstarter
put over the Kickstarter and invested in stuff.
Sean too. Sean
as well.
Sean is very good.
Your thanks, one and all.
Sean gets something new from Kickstarter.
Like almost every week. Like every day. Every other day.
He puts his
money
where
me, you won't
mouth
have to wait.
Right.
Yeah, go get it now.
I'm immediately available to you.
And you know what? folks, it's a Western. If you want Western comics, you got to support Western comics. It's just that simple. I mean, like, everyone's doing superheroes. This is a Western comic, so do the thing. Next week,
going to be a gritty noir.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah,
I like that too. Maxine says she likes the way you say cuss words. So
I've been well behaved. This is not my.
This is well behaved, Marcus.
Yeah, let me tell you, Marcus.
I've been restrained.
My mom is usually restrained, but she has a switch.
Ah,
my mom has a switch.
Now we're learning stuff.
And I learned from her, and she learned from her dad, my grandfather, and I've heard my grandfather too. So
I mean, it's just a beautiful thing to do. If you can
you know what? It can be fun. It can be fun.
Thanks to you too. Hey, breaking news! Our guest next week is Beth Freely.
Hey.
Maybe you've heard of her. We're going to talk about her.
We get to meet Beth next week.
We do. If you've heard about her, then we don't know much about her, but.
Oh, you guys. I love you guys.
She will be on next week as the guest, so that also means that we have something next week. And so if you want to give us some ideas about what to do or something, check us out on the Task Force Geek Facebook group, please, and give us some some topic ideas and have fun there.
We should watch We Hunt together. And then talk about how Diplo Isla should be the new James Bond.
Look, I'm very interested in this. Seriously, we have another show called Spoiler Alert, where we do watch.
We do that for Spoiler
We do
Alert,
watch these things. Sean says, "Good evening, all. Marcus, welcome to TFG, and I look forward to your success."
I look forward to it too.
Thank you, Sean. Steve says, "Didn't she do a Highlander fanfic?" I don't know. We might ask her about that, Steve. We're going to get to the bottom of that.
Guys, if there's anything you want to know, send Dirk the questions now.
I hear there can
next week.
only be one.
The animated Highlander, the 80s one, or the TV show?
TV show. I love them all. But I have a soft spot.
You know what? Now that you mentioned that, the animated one is on my watch list on Tubi.
Is that on there?
Yeah, it's on there. There's a lot of stuff on there on Tubi.
I want to watch. I never watched Raven, and that's available on this stuff.
Oh yeah, that was the spinoff, wasn't it?
Farscape, Steve.
That was the spin-off television series.
It was a spin-off from the television series.
Star Trek fanfic.
Farscape. Excuse me, Farscape. Anyway.
When we have her on, we will ask her these questions, Steve. But not until.
Next week,
and not while I'm trying to wrap up. Oh my God, more comments? It's got to be Steve. Oh my God, it is Steve. Shut up, man. Let me wrap this up.
Okay, bye.
No, look, I appreciate everyone who's chimed in. A lot of people have been asking, when is the show coming back? What's going to be next? It really, honestly, I mean, look, my throat is okay now, but last week I could not do a show. I talked to Marcus and I said, look, I just can't do it. I mean, I was sneezing and coughing. It was ridiculous.
Did you find local honey?
I did find some local honey. I got that.
Did it work?
I've been eating honey on toast, so I'm better now than I was 7 days ago. So maybe that was the magic sauce. I don't know.
I keep recommending you do that hot toddy, some hot tea with lemon, honey, and a splash of whiskey.
I know for a fact that works. That's what
ginger tea. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Ginger tea.
Yeah. No, that does work. I know. I just don't have any hooch.
It's the mid-90s. Why would you have hooch? Do you get that reference, Beth?
Oh yeah, I did.
I'm sure she did. This crowd.
Marcus, I'll tell you what. I grew up with a mom who was about the biggest Anglophile I ever knew. I was reciting Monty Python by the time I was 6, and then, like I said, I did a year and a half in England, and I went to your schools over there. I didn't go to the American schools, so trust me, I know it.
Hey, I grew up.
I still love it.
I grew
You
up
speak so
on.
eloquently for someone who was involved in our schools. Congratulations.
I grew up on the goodies and Monty Python and the old Doctor Who's and all that sort of
And
stuff.
Benny Hill.
Oh, and
Benny
Benny, oh
Hill,
God,
yeah.
Benny Hill. Good Lord.
Hey,
Daphne
I've,
and
you're
Fraser.
watching Benny Hill in England.
I've
where nothing is
always
censored.
loved that stuff. Damon says good night, everyone.
I still
Night,
can't believe
Damon.
my parents let me watch Benny Hill as a kid.
Yes.
So quaint.
Oh my God. There's no way you could broadcast Benny Hill now. Are you kidding me? No way.
There's
And-
not.
and
No,
about-
why would you need to? Like, music videos are basically Benny Hill, but with better music.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Your mom is trying to get me drunk on some.
I
Love
don't
you,
know if you've
Mom.
got it over there.
Put some
but
Jack
Uncle
in the
Nearest-
tea.
Uncle
Which one?
Nearest. Uncle Nearest is the basically
No,
the
sir.
original JD.
No,
Okay.
we're not. We are not wrapped
Actually,
yet.
Look, Google Ernest Green. Like, he's the guy who invented Jack Daniels. It's a really interesting story, and it also puts Jack Daniels in a good light. Which, considering what kind of company they are, you think no, but like they're actually Jack Daniels himself seems like to be a decent enough cat. So like, search for Ernest Green. It's a really interesting history.
Very.
Whose
very
history is any interest to you, but like, you know,
Ernest Green. I'm writing that
yeah,
down right now.
We got-
it's called Uncle Nearest,
More homework.
and then go and buy it because it's a
There'll be a quiz on this tomorrow.
Yeah,
Marcus, you're welcome back anytime, honestly.
cool. I will come back tomorrow then.
We'll be here. We'll still be. We will still not have
Well-
wrapped from today.
You will still be in the future. Like, you'll be in Thursday. We'll still be in Wednesday.
I know you'll be here because we'll still be broadcast.
Right.
Thanks to Beth. Thanks
Sorry,
to Walt. Thanks to everyone who chimed in and everyone who said do another episode of Task Force Geek. We're sorry. Sorry that we haven't been on here. Send guests our way. Thanks to everyone. That's it, folks. Good night. We're wrapping it up for real now. Until
everyone.
next time, dream hard.